Mortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is currently accepting scripts and treatments. Both William and Xxena Rush are also available via email or Zoom to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers free of charge. Their information will be made available in the show notes. There may be delays due to a hectic schedule and all projects being read on a first-come, first-served basis, but everything will be read and responded to. William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Pack is Here, Before, The Cottage, The Winemaker, and Day by Day. Their award-winning film Group premiered and was celebrated at multiple film festivals as well as screenings both in person and via Zoom that was graciously made available to us and our patrons.
Original Cinematic has many exciting projects on the horizon. Their next film, Immersion, has been completed. The award-winning Sweetener is in development. Fetish begins shooting in September, and Encore will begin next spring. Their documentary, Women in Conversation, is slated for a September release, and we are looking forward to each and every one of them. It is truly an honor to partner with Original Cinematic, and we can't thank them enough for their contribution to our show. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Salutations! Welcome to Pod Mortem. I'm Reneé Hunter-Vasquez, joined as always by my co-host, my husband, and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter-Sayapin.
This week, we're recording live from a sinister suburban street discussing the 2017 Argentine supernatural horror film, Terrified. This film was written and directed by Demián Rugna. After a prolonged effort to get Terrified made, it would make a splash upon its release, throwing Rugna's name into the horror conversation. With its story told in a compelling non-linear format and featuring a revolving door of main characters, a mysterious plot, and unforgettable, unflinching imagery, Terrified was a welcome breath of fresh air to many horror fans. This film was requested to us by friends of the show, Karima Rhodes, Girl That's Scary, Sandra Escalera, Miguel Myers ATX, Sophie Hodson, Molly Gerhart, Cookie, Scott Troutman Wise, Goth Mom, Strict 91276, and Tommy Norcal. We'd like to thank them all for their support as well as this suggestion. So, what did you guys think of Terrified the first time you saw it?
So I was told that I had watched this before.
Mm-hmm. You were there.
I was there. I believe I was asleep, so I do apologize for that time.
For that time.
So this was really a fresh watch, and that's really good. But I did enjoy this. This was pretty cool. I liked it. It felt to me kind of like a ghost story for a while, and I really, really enjoyed that. And because this is the same When Evil Lurks team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really like what they're doing there. Like, this is a really cool movie, and I enjoyed going through it. There's a couple of times that I noticed the CGI, but I was like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I enjoy the world that we're kind of what we're doing, like how we're just kind of dropped in here and going with it. And it was the same thing in When Evil Lurks, but this is, like I said, I think I like what this team's got going on, or what this dude's doing, because there was a lot of times I'll be honest, I was just watching it and I was like, oh no, I need to rewind to get back to what I wanted to say. But I was just kind of watching the movie and enjoying the story that we were going through.
I enjoy this film too. I can't remember if we watched it before lockdown or after lockdown.
Yeah, I think it was after.
Okay, because time
Flat circle.
Right.
exactly. But I remember really enjoying it. I still enjoy it. I think that the biggest strengths for me are how well crafted the scares are.
Okay.
Because I feel like the way that they're done and the way that some of them are unveiled, some of them are jump scares, but they are done in such a way that they don't feel cheap.
Yeah.
And even though you do know what is probably going to happen, it's still somehow very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally
Yes,
agree.
Yes.
It's very impressive to me. And I think that there is this kind of tension and atmosphere that is really unnerving kind of throughout, because they show you some things that you do not anticipate seeing, and so you're like, oh, so everything is on the table.
Yeah.
Like anything can happen.
Right.
And I think that's honestly, from my experience watching this and When Evil Lurks, becoming sort of a trademark for Rugna is this just anything can happen, and it could be the worst thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Right. Right.
But I think that when it comes to, like you had said, kind of being dropped into this thing, I appreciate kind of an ambiguity around the explanation of what's going on. I think that it can work, and especially when it comes to evil.
Right.
Evil does not need, okay, it started here,
Yeah.
and I have a Zoom call with Vincent D'Onofrio later.
The Strays.
Yeah. He's going to tell me everything. And he was paid rate.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you need that. I think that it's kind of cool where somebody says, you know what, I have a theory,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because how is it that you would know 100% certainty? That's fine.
Yeah.
I think my only issue, and not even an issue, but kind of like drawback for me, is I think that the narrative could use a little work, maybe. And I also want to care more about the characters at the center of this.
Yeah.
I think that's really it.
That's fair.
Because honestly, there are times, the way that we're moving through it, I guess the way that it's formatted, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
there are times that I almost want it to be an anthology film.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Like where it's like we are in this location and each thing is its own story.
All right. All right.
But we have a frame story that maybe brings it together to the ending we get.
Right.
If
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that it's really effective. There is this kind of subgenre of suburban supernatural horror, like Poltergeist or Insidious.
Yeah.
I think it works for me because, and I don't mean to make a like a tagline, but it's when horror hits home.
Yeah.
And I like it. I
Yeah.
do.
No, I totally agree. I think that the first time I saw this was as well during the pandemic, like you said, and John Paul was present, but I don't think he was conscious. I really loved it. I thought that it was really interesting. It made me very excited when Evil Lurks came out, just seeing his name again, because this had really kind of left. There's some visuals in this that you just don't forget. And it's really exciting. It's very chilling.
Yeah.
There are scenes that are frightening. And like you were saying, T, there are moments where you're like, oh, like you're preparing yourself because you know, but it still scares the hell out of you when it happens. I totally agree. I think the narrative structure is very interesting in a way that almost does feel like an anthology film. He had said, because I could not find a lot of research on this, but he had said in an interview that he had crafted the story with kind of a shifting protagonist. Like you can't say who's the main character of Terrified. You could list 3, 4, 5 people, because he always wanted the stakes to be anything can happen to anyone at any time. There is no main character that's going to make it through this, or main character that you know is safe, basically.
Yeah.
And I find that very intriguing. I think that it's really effective because some things happen to people in this that I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're not expecting it to go that way. But I think at the cost of that, especially with the film this short, we don't get as much time to be like, oh, he's been through so much. Like, he's got 1 day left till retirement or whatever. You know, it's like, I think that the characters do feel so lived in, though, that even without a like proper backstory or a lot of time with them, you get a sense of who they are, which I think is really interesting. And they're all on their own journeys that make sense to them, even though we're not privy to them. Like there are lines later on where he's like, a person is like, oh, I found this thing. And it's like, what the fuck are you? I don't know what you're talking about. But I love that it means something to you guys, you know? But he did the same thing with When Evil Lurks, where it's like, this is just the world that we're in. These are what this is what these characters are going through. And we're just, I guess, lucky enough to be treated to this piece of it, which I think when a lot of films are beat you over the head, over explained, I think that's really refreshing.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like what I mean by like a ghost story. We're just like, here, these are our people. This is what happens to them. Okay, we're good. But you are interested, and I'd like a little more time with them. But right. I do enjoy this kind of the way it is as a whole. It's not perfect, but I did get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I'm just a fan of the way that he crafts his scares and just some of the visuals that this man comes up with.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you okay? But I love it. It's genuinely frightening.
Yeah.
But before we begin, of course, I do want to talk a little bit about the production. I have put together everything that I could. This was not one with a lot of information that I could find, but I did get the information that I have from some interviews with Demián Rugna on the We Are Definitely Afraid of the Dark podcast, the Lights, Camera, Austin podcast, as well as interviews and an article in Rue Morgue, Deadline, and Screen Rant.
Okay.
So according to Rugna, when he wrote and directed the 2007 film The Last Gateway, the idea for Terrified began to marinate in his brain. Over the next year, Rugna would write this screenplay and start to shop it around. No one wanted it. He shops Terrified around for 9 years and no one wanted it. Rugna has said multiple times, I'd also come across this in my research for When Evil Lurks, that in Argentina, there's not a big market for horror. He wanted desperately to make horror films and prove that these films could be made there as well, instead of everyone just consuming American horror films. But still, no one wanted this movie. Rugna decides that he needs to reinvent himself. So he puts Terrified on the back burner and instead writes and directs the 2016 black comedy, You Don't Know Who You're Talking To. He said that backfired because he felt like no one saw it. Because that was means to get to Terrified.
Yeah.
But someone must have seen it because it's after You Don't Know Who You're Talking To that he's contacted by a production team that is suddenly interested in Terrified. But Rugna said that after 9 years of trying to convince people that this was a good story, he'd become soured on it and became positive that it was terrible. He's like, there's got to be a reason no one wants this.
Wow.
So at first he wasn't even interested. He had given up on it, but obviously he finally said yes. He said that 15 days before they started shooting, he heavily rewrote Terrified and even changed the ending a little bit. I was not able to find the original draft, so I really wonder what that first story was, and if maybe that's why, if there's anything kind of that we're left wanting narratively, if it was lost in that process, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they shot Terrified in December of 2016, and after 9 months of post-production, it premiered in Mexico at Morbido Fest in November of 2017. In 2018, Terrified would win Best Horror Picture at Fantastic Fest.
Hey.
And eventually, on October 11th, 2018, Terrified would be brought to Shudder, where many of us finally had the opportunity to see it. The success and buzz around Terrified would aid Rugna in carving out a bigger space for horror films in Argentina, but the story doesn't quite end there. Rugna revealed in an interview with Rue Morgue that almost directly after Terrified's release on Shudder, he was approached to do an American remake. Immediately after it came out. He accepted, and it was to be directed by him, produced by Guillermo del Toro,
Wow,
and written by Sasha Gervasi. Rugna got a little nervous about this, though, realizing that this new film he was going to direct that was originally his story wasn't really going to be his anymore. So he got to work writing a second Terrified. That way, they could do whatever they wanted with this American remake, but he would still get to continue the original story with another Argentine film, which he described as a direct sequel, which would take place as soon as the first film ended, and would be, by his estimation, 5 times gorier than its predecessor.
God damn.
Damn.
But everything came to a screeching halt when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Not much more has been said about Terrified 2, but just at the beginning of this month, April 2026, after 8 years of delays, it was announced that they were moving forward with the Terrified American remake. It's now going to be produced and directed by Emmy winner Noah Hawley, creator of the Fargo TV show and Alien Earth.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
You know,
You could do worse.
yeah, for sure. Do we need an American remake of a film less than 10 years old? I guess only time will tell, but with Hawley at the helm, I'm slightly less terrified.
Ah.
Let's just get started.
All right.
Now, before we investigate this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Pod Mortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's get back up. The film begins with a low, droning score.
I don't want to interrupt you already.
Go for it.
But I did learn something that was pretty interesting to me. The score, I forgot to mention during the intro, I love the score in this film.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are some parts of it where it kind of reminds me almost of the work of Joseph Bishara.
Yes.
Okay.
The strings that
Yeah.
go crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There is one part that almost puts me in the mind of Tubular Bells. Like, there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
That is his favorite film of all time. He said that's the
Okay.
scariest film of all time.
I get it, and
Yeah.
this will make a lot more sense.
Okay.
The composer of this film was the director, Demián Rugna.
All right. That's great.
Yeah.
This dude is talented.
Yes.
That's wild. We press in on Clara, played by Natalia Señorales, who stands with her back to us, doing the dishes. After setting a plate down in the basin where it clinks lightly against the others, she pauses, listening. There's a strange sound coming from the drain, airy and rhythmic, almost like breathing. Clara turns the faucet on full blast, drowning out the sound. But when she turns it back off, the sudsy water slides down the drain and the noises resume. Sounds of movement and possibly a low voice speaking resume from somewhere deep in the pipes. A bubble settles over the opening of the drain, inflating and deflating and pulses. Clara eyes this with unease, and we look up at her from the drain until she backs away.
Very troubling, of course.
Yeah.
The way that it's shown first, I thought that it was almost like a supernatural green light within the bubble.
Okay.
And I was like, or is this just the light that kind of the refracted color?
Right, yeah.
You know? But either way, it kind of starts you off immediately where you feel like you have to investigate every part of the frame and that anything can come from anywhere in this film.
Yeah. It kind of put me in the mind when she backed up and you seen the bubble like breathing or like it's flexing up. I was like, man, Pennywise is going to come out.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's a crossover.
Yeah.
We cut to Juan, played by Agustin Retano, coming into the kitchen, complaining about a guy that you have to call 3 times because he never answers his phone.
Agustin Retano, he was in Terror 5 in 2016 and Argentina 1985 in 2022.
He's really good in this.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I feel like everybody really does what they need to do.
There is something going through the cast and looking at everybody here. A lot of TV actors.
Oh, okay.
A lot of TV actors.
Clara stands behind him, listening as he tells her the news. Remember that dog we ran over the other day? Clara nods and Juan tells her to guess. When she doesn't, he tells her. The dog is alive. They ran over it. They thought they had killed it, but it's alive. Smiling, he gushes that the dog is like Highlander. It's a good thing they didn't bury him.
There can only be one.
Clearly, yeah. But this, I did not catch this until I rewatched it.
Okay.
that this is very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't catch this till you told me.
And it's the way that he said it, he was smiling with that first sentence. I was like, what the hell?
Remember that dog?
It's like, did you do it on purpose? And it's like, oh, that is good news.
Oh, good. Yeah. Clara stands in a daze in the doorway, not responding to the news. Realizing her demeanor, Juan asks her what's wrong. Did she change her mind about cooking? Clara confirms flatly that she couldn't cook. Juan doesn't ask follow-up questions. He just offers that they can order in since it's early. It's like, dude, you're not. Read the riddle. But Clara provides context. She couldn't cook because she heard voices in the kitchen. We focus on Juan's face as he turns to survey the area, asking, here in the kitchen? Juan turns on the tap again, the water blasting for a moment before he turns it off and listens intently to the drain. The noises start, and when he turns to Clara, she's positive about what she heard. She spent the entire afternoon listening. They were speaking. Juan looks back down toward the sink, reasoning that he doesn't know. The pipes are so old that they clatter sometimes. He asks what she thinks she heard, before adding that their neighbor Walter is banging away and fixing things. They can hear him from here. He asks, was Walter fixing things today? Did she hear him? He turns back to find Clara's stricken expression, and he approaches her to provide comfort, telling her not to be afraid. But this doesn't assuage Clara, who declares that they were human voices. Of course, Juan asks what they said, and Clara answers, they said they were going to kill me.
I think that's a little different than hearing your neighbor banging on the wall.
Yeah, you sure it wasn't a hammer?
Yeah.
I'm like, Juan, you're on a real fucking thin line, buddy.
But the radio was on.
I will say it was his tone that saved him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it did sound like he genuinely cares. It wasn't that disbelieving spouse.
Yes.
Right.
He's like, he's trying to make her feel better.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're real, getting real close. The screen immediately cuts to black, and with the chaotic and uneasy swell of the score, we get the title, simple and red, Aterrados, terrified. So this was a hell of an opening.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's already setting the tone for something supernatural, and like, what do you mean they're gonna kill you? Like, are we hearing this from somewhere else? Like, is someone in another apartment? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What the hell does this mean at this point? You know?
Yeah.
Or is it like a ghost? Or like, we don't know.
Well, we heard a little bit of it when she was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something else, though, is he didn't seem so surprised to hear about this necessarily.
Yeah.
So it's also like, is there a history of having heard
Right.
stuff here? you know?
Yeah.
That night, Clara stirs in her sleep before finally waking up and getting out of bed. This wakes Juan, who squints at the light coming from Clara's bedside lamp before switching it off and going back to sleep. Clara leaves the bedroom, walking sleepily into the bathroom in her underwear and a camisole.
I did think that was funny that I know she's getting up to go to the bathroom, whatever. He's like, oh, hell, turn that light off.
Well, that's you. That's you.
Yeah, but if you have the light on and you're getting ready or you're doing something for the day, I'm not just going to turn it off.
No, but at night, like if I go to brush my teeth or something, I'll come back and it's pitch black. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't find my way back to the bed.
He's like, none of that.
Yeah.
Daddy's trying to sleep. I do have a question, though. I feel like the opening, of course, is very impactful, but it did surprise me that she drops this bomb and is like, all right, let's go to bed.
Yeah.
They ordered in.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, well, she was just hungry.
Okay.
Yeah, we all hear voices in the drain.
When we're
Threatening
hungry,
voices
yeah.
in the drain. Get a Snickers, you know?
That's their whole ad campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shower turns on as Juan lays in bed dozing, but he bolts up when there's a loud thud, then another. He turns on his own lamp, but the thudding continues, loud and rhythmic over the spray of the shower. Juan sits up and bangs on the wall behind his bed, calling out to their neighbor that it's way too early to start fixing things. The thudding stops, the only remaining sound the steady stream of the shower. Satisfied, Juan switches off his lamp and settles back into bed, but as soon as he gets comfortable, the thudding resumes. Angry now, Juan turns his light back on and snatches a shoe up from the floor. He bangs it against the wall instead of his fist, yelling this time, "Stop banging, asshole! Stop!" The heavy thumping only stops for a moment before starting up again, and Juan has had enough. He gets up, declaring, "You'll listen to me, you son of a bitch."
I understand the hour. It's late.
Yeah.
But this is how you end up in the paper. Like, let's diffuse.
It escalated very quickly.
Yeah.
Dressed in his slippers, t-shirt, and underwear, Juan stomps out of the house. He opens his gate and steps out into the sidewalk, walking the short distance to his next door neighbor. Muttering to himself, he presses the buzzer on Walter's mailbox. He speaks directly into the intercom, calling out to Walter and telling him that it's Juan. A screeching sound is his only response, and this only pisses Juan off more. He asserts that he knows Walter is in there. Juan continues to press the buzzer frantically and repeatedly. When Walter doesn't answer, Juan stands and yells at his neighbor's house instead. He demands that Walter stop the banging. He can hear everything at his house. He says that it's 5 a.m. What does he think he's doing? Juan threatens to call the cops and calls Walter an asshole one more time for good measure before going back to his house. But we linger on the intercom over Walter's mailbox, where we hear a rush of static.
Pants if you're going outside.
You know, that's when you know you're mad.
Yeah.
Just flopping around.
Yeah.
No vulnerable thighs.
Yes.
No, yeah.
It's unnecessary. I will say with the intercom, though, those horrifying hisses didn't give him pause.
Yeah.
He's like, asshole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His ghost is in town. That's right.
I think your neighbor might be in trouble.
Yeah, dude. And you're just worried about yourself.
Yeah.
Juan returns home, telling Clara as he passes the bathroom that their son of a bitch neighbor keeps hammering the walls at 5 a.m. But as soon as he crosses the threshold of his bedroom, the thudding begins again. So he takes out his gun. This time, though, Juan realizes that it's not coming from the wall behind his bed, and he understands now it's not Walter. He turns to look back down the hallway, calling out if it's Clara. Is she the one banging? Finally, Juan pushes open the bathroom door and lets himself inside. All right, y'all. Myriad points of bloody impact are splattered against the wall. Juan stares in disbelief as he turns and finds Clara. She floats in the corner, hovering above the bathtub. The walls around her are stained with matching splotches of blood. Before his eyes, Clara glides through the air to smash against the wall, producing the thud that Juan was hearing in the bedroom. She's promptly dragged back to hit the opposite wall. Juan stares in shock as Clara is pulled back and forth, slamming from wall to wall, her blood falling into the tub beneath her, staining the walls around her as she dangles lifelessly. Finally, he snaps into action, rushing for his wife and trying to grab for her legs, but she continues to soar by. Ultimately, Juan is able to grab her and pull her down, but once he's holding Clara, her head flies back, smashing against the wall behind her repeatedly. Juan sobs, screaming at her to stop it. He tries to hold her neck still, but he can't stop her, the sound of her skull crunching against the tiled wall. Juan is sprayed with his wife's blood, and when he can't do anything to stop her, he sinks down to the ground, trembling, screaming, begging for her to stop, for her to tell him what's happening. A slow stream continues to trickle from the shower as Clara resumes flying back and forth, her limp body slamming again and again against the walls. Beneath her, Juan cowers and covers his face.
I was not prepared.
No.
And just the result of it, how horrible does this look for Juan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he grabbed her, I was like, oh,
yeah.
This doesn't.
It doesn't look good. And again, even walking into this, the water did that?
It was,
like, you're in the shower. What the fuck's happening? Because she's flying back and forth.
And she's still in her clothes. So it's like she just turned it on and then whatever happened started happening.
Yeah.
It said that.
The drain
It did.
was very clear about that.
Yeah, it was. I think it could have been clearer because this is
Pretty shocking. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I did want to say that I heard in one of those interviews with Rugna, he had said that whenever they're making films in Argentina, 99% of them are shot on location, because the interviewer was like, what was your choice behind doing on location versus sets? And he's like, there was no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't have the budget to build sets. But he did say that this was the bathroom with this sequence was the only set that was built for this film.
Okay.
I'm sure you had
yeah.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
The production designer was a woman called Laura Aguirre-Berry. And I believe you told me some pretty interesting trivia that I did not know.
Yeah, that's his wife. That's Rugna's wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
They also put out I don't know if it's like a novelization, because she's an illustrator as well.
Oh, I did see that novelization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
was like, I have to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There might be a bit of lore in there.
Yeah. All right. All right.
We cut to Juan covering his face, sitting in a muted and sterile room. 3 older people sit across the table from him. Jano, played by Norberto Gonzalo, speaks first, informing Juan that they want to take him out of here. They believe him, but he needs to cooperate with them.
Norberto Gonzalo. He was in Romeo y Julieta in 2007. He was in 49 episodes of that. Champions of Life from 99 to 2000. He was in 48 episodes of that as well.
TV.
Yeah.
He is great.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love this character.
This is him and a character that we'll meet later that he interacts with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The two of them are, like you said, very lived in.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I feel how much history and experience they have
Yes,
Right.
totally.
just through their performance.
Yeah.
Juan asks if they spoke with his lawyer, and Jano says that they did, but he doesn't seem to believe them much. So the way that Juan is dressed, like this is some kind of, it seems to be a mental health facility.
Right.
And so it's like, what are they assuming happened? Like, do they think that you did it? And now that they put you away because you say that you don't remember it or whatever.
Yeah.
And these people are like, nah, dude, we believe you. Like, what is happening?
I think he probably said exactly what he saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what happened.
Yeah.
It is.
And they were like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, no. Next to him, Maura Albrecht, played by Elvira Oneto, reaches into a manila envelope and pulls out a collection of photographs.
I said that we'll meet later. It's right. It's her.
Right?
Yeah.
We're here. It's later.
Elvira Oneto. She was in The Dog Who Wouldn't Be Quiet in 2021, Norma in 23, and Jennifer's Shadow in 24.
She's awesome in this.
Oh, yeah.
And she, again, like watching, obviously this came first, but we covered When Evil Lurks first.
Yeah.
So kind of that, we took a magnifying glass to that one before this one. And I see like kind of recurring themes in Rugna's work.
Mm-hmm.
And this character and something that we see her kind of operating later on really heavily made me think of some stuff that we got in When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I feel like, and I don't know, it's the same exact thing that we talked about with Insidious. I feel like these kind of character archetypes owe a lot to Zelda Rubinstein and Poltergeist.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We see glimpses of these photos, pictures of bloody bodies, close-ups of injuries, a slit throat. Juan pushes the photos away. He's already seen these, but Maura pushes them back, correcting him. He doesn't know about these. He's never seen them before. Jano tells Juan directly that they know he didn't murder his wife. They don't have concrete proof, but they're working on it. Maura implores Juan to look at the pictures. And so reluctantly, Juan's eyes drop to the photo nearest to him. He picks it up, confused, looking over the close-up shot of a woman with her throat slit. He points out that this isn't Clara, and Maura agrees. It's not. Juan shakes his head as Maura details that what he's looking at happened in the United States in 1998. It was a very similar case, nearly identical.
As Juan,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it'll make you feel better just to know that somebody believes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you hear that, it's like, okay, so this is something that's been going on for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
International.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are we dealing with?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what this was like nodding
Like
to.
a reference
Yeah,
to.
I was like, oh, so what happened?
Because it is very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Juan asks if the case was solved, and it's finally Rosentalk, played by George L. Lewis, who responds. Instead of answering Juan's question, he declares with intensity that they need to know everything Juan remembers about what happened. Juan says that he already told it all to the prosecutor. But Rosentalk asserts that everything Juan can remember about those 2 weeks when he pauses, Mora supplies, in his neighborhood. And Rosentalk accepts this. He needs to know if Juan remembers anything out of the ordinary. Juan thinks deeply before remembering that there was an incident outside of his house. His neighbor Walter was very upset. He was remodeling his house at odd hours of the day. Mora's like, remodeling? Rosentalk repeats Juan's neighbor's first name, but Mora nods as she goes further. Walter Carabajal. A low tone drones in the score as Hano, Mora, and Rosentalk exchange a look. So what the fuck does Walter have to do with this?
We've already heard this name. This is someone we're familiar
Yes,
with.
yeah. And it's just the way that we're peeling back layers, and it's just very interesting the way that the story is told.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to Walter, played by Demián Salomón, hunched over his desk in an office, looking a little unkempt.
Demián Salomón, we talked about him in When Evil Lurks.
Hey.
We did, yeah. And he does great in both.
Yeah.
I somehow did not even recognize him.
I didn't either. And John Paul's like, he's the brother, right? I was like, I don't think so. And it's like, no, he is.
Yeah. Because when
He sure is.
when I seen him, I was like, oh, it's a Jimmy. I was like,
Yeah.
He just looks a little younger. And the more I kept watching, then I asked your sister, and she was like, no, I don't think it is. So I kept going, and when I was doing my back work, I was like, it is.
And when I rewatched it, I was like, no, it's totally him.
Absolutely.
It's 1,000% him. His phone is pressed to his ear as he waits and swallows down coffee from a styrofoam cup. When someone answers on the other end, he sets the cup down next to 2 more empty ones on his desk. And I understand that we need the multiple cups to illustrate how much coffee he's had, but I'm like, just refill the same cup.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
This is
that's
so
crazy.
wasteful. Walter asks for Dr. Albrecht. When asked, he supplies his name, but the receptionist informs him that she can't take his call right now. She offers to take a message, but Walter says no. He really needs to speak with her. He glances over his shoulder at his boss and another coworker speaking quietly behind him before lowering his voice. He admits that he's been having problems at home for a few months now.
That's unimaginable.
Yeah.
Especially when we learn what Walter's
Yeah.
problems
Yes.
are. And I'm like,
Yo.
you're still making it to work.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still going to work. It's crazy.
Well, you're going to work. I expected his boss to be like, Carabajal, is that a
Yeah.
personal call? What have I told you about making? Because it's like, how long have you been putting up with this?
Yeah.
Walter says that he thought it was just him at the beginning, but it kept getting worse, and it's kind of hard to explain what's happening over the phone. The receptionist asks pointedly, who gave him this number? Walter explains that he spoke to many specialists who all agreed on giving him this number. The receptionist tells him politely to call back tomorrow. Walter agrees that he will and asks for her to tell the doctor that he called. In response, the receptionist hangs up on him. Walter hangs up too before taking another drink of his coffee.
This just makes me think a little bit that, like, is like, did you start this?
Oh.
Like, what is this? What is happening?
I mean, what do we have to go on at this point?
Yeah.
But it's like, what is going on that multiple specialists are like, dude, you need to call Maura Albrecht because we can't fucking help you. Like, and then the receptionist is like, I don't know.
Yeah. You already knew I was going to call.
How did you get this number?
Yeah, I think she's my least favorite character. Because what do they have to be going through in order to call you?
Yes.
And they're like, well, I'll see if Thursday's free.
Suddenly, we peer out from beneath Walter's bed as he dangles upside down, checking underneath it. He pulls back out of view before dropping down again to take another paranoid look. Walter gets out of bed before shuffling away in his bare feet, and the blanket falls down, obstructing our view. In the bathroom, Walter takes medication with desperate gulps of water before washing his face in the sink.
Water.
Water, sink, drain. You know, all alarming things at this point.
Yeah.
Bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the bathroom now. He meets his own tired eyes in the mirror before turning off the squeaking faucet. The last of the water in the sink disappears loudly down the drain. Walter returns to his bedroom and pulls his blankets back up. Suddenly, the bed scoots away from him. When Walter just stares at it, it moves away again, scraping against the floor. Still, Walter gets into bed with a sigh, lying on his back on top of the blankets. So this is not that shocking to him.
No.
Like, he still gets in bed. He just looks at it like, here we go. Like,
That would suck.
yeah.
We're sleeping on a surface, I feel.
We will sleep outside.
That's a better answer.
This is
Yeah.
crazy. He closes his eyes, the clock ticking loudly at his bedside and his breath quickening. With him on top of his bed, it scoots back into place, moving once, then twice. Walter stays with his eyes closed as the lamp on the nightstand flickers, the electricity buzzing. When something bangs loudly, Walter's eyes snap open and he sits up with a gasp. He stares at the bed as it begins to move again beneath him. Horrified, Walter slowly moves, hanging again over the edge of his bed and reaching down for the dangling blanket. Abruptly, he rips it up, but reveals nothing but darkness beneath his bed.
This shot, and any time it shows up in a film, it always scares the hell out of me because I never know what's going to be behind the blanket. I do have to say, who cares what's under there? Just go.
I don't need to see it.
Does it matter, really?
It's like, you can live down there, dude. It's all
Yeah,
right.
no, I'll leave. Yeah, you can have it.
I'll sign the lease over.
Yeah.
We pan up as Walter flops back down onto his back. Only now, lying parallel to Walter beneath his bed, is Hombre Pálido, played by Bruno Jacobe, his long nude body folded in half so that his feet are up to his shoulders, his bald and bulbous head housing dark, sunken, and staring eyes. The score goes wild before dying away, and we join Walter on his bed, where he rubs his face obliviously. Who else peed a little?
Oh,
The way it comes up and then back down.
Yeah.
Oh, it was very
Yeah.
good.
Bruno Jacobe. He was in The Devil's Tale in 2021 and You Shall Not Sleep Tonight in 2024.
Well, I won't.
nope. He's made sure of that. I have to say, I honestly thought that this was a CG creation.
No, this is a guy. It's clearly enhanced
Right,
with CG, but Rugna said that it was 6 hours of makeup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
for this. And again, on IMDb, he is credited as Hombre Pálido, the pale man.
Yeah.
Which is also in Pan's Labyrinth. But in all of his interviews, Rugna referred to him consistently as the thin man.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I think that I continue to call him the pale man through this script, but just to mention.
Okay.
Right.
I remember we talked about it a long time ago. It might have even been When Evil Lurks, but there was a film that we covered that the director was not happy with a lot of the translations that were made.
I
Yeah.
do. It may have been When Evil Lurks. I do remember that.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought that it was interesting because I'm like, oh, the pale man.
Yeah.
I know him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Walter turns fearfully when his bedside lamp finally turns off, bathing him in the darkness of his room. He tries to switch it back on, but nothing happens. He finds that it's been unplugged. Okay, which is really scary.
Yeah.
But it's also funny to think about down there.
Yeah. You know electricity?
Well, we don't know what we're dealing with so
That's
far.
true. No, we
We're so-
He's
We
like,
really
dude, my
don't.
house is filled with lamps.
You think I don't know lamp?
Yeah, Jesus, I'm going to kill you extra for that shit.
I love lamp.
yeah.
Walter snatches the plug and feels blindly for the outlet beneath his bed, dangling upside down over the side. But when the light finally comes back on, beneath the bed is once again empty. And instead, the long legs of the pale man are visible behind Walter's hanging head. The pale man scurries away with another burst from the score.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Let's use the bathroom. It's like I've been under there all night, dude.
Just waiting for you to come home.
Just going to go hide somewhere else.
Yeah. I'll get him again.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? When this light comes on, you know something's about to happen.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
But the misdirection is really interesting of like expecting it to be in Walter's face when it's behind his head.
Right.
And that he's scary. He looks
He does.
really scary. Horrified, Walter throws his sheet over himself, clasping his hands together in prayer. But something comes into view, silhouetted against the thin armor of his sheet, reaching slowly for Walter. But we cut abruptly to the outside of his house, where the sun shines down with ignorance of the horrors beneath it. And inside of his bedroom, Walter wakes to find the entire room completely trashed. Furniture is piled and overturned. The room outside of his bed is a cluttered catastrophe, and the score becomes deafening as Walter looks around, confused.
I hate what the thin man has done to the place.
Yeah.
But the more that I was thinking about it, because you're watching it, and you got to be thinking, how the hell did he fall asleep? But he's been dealing with this for months.
And he took those pills in the sink.
He did.
Remember,
Yeah.
he drank it from the tap water.
Right.
But it's like this is kind of his normal now.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's very annoying.
Well, yeah. It's
It's
the
like,
worst roommate ever.
why-
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
I don't know.
We find Walter hunched over his desk with the phone pressed to his ear, his disheveled and exhausted appearance making much more sense now with the collection of even more spent styrofoam cups stacked at the corner of his desk. On the phone, he begs to speak with the doctor. He hasn't slept in weeks. He's on medication, but it doesn't even work anymore. He pleads that he's in a difficult situation, and he tells the receptionist to tell the doctor that he's seen it. It's not just noises or things that move on their own. He saw it yesterday. He thinks it's under the bed.
You think?
He's like, look, I'm real tired. I don't know.
It's like, and they're docking my pay for all these phone calls.
Unmoved, the receptionist reports that the doctor can't see him. She's not able to take his case. Frustrated, Walter bangs his hand against the desk, earning the attention of his boss behind him. So he quiets his voice, imploring, begging. He needs to speak with the doctor. He's going crazy. The receptionist offers to recommend another specialist, but Walter refuses this. He's already spoken with all of them. They've all told him that the doctor is the only one that can help. I can't imagine how crushing this would be.
Oh, yeah.
That all of these
Yeah.
people are like, oh, this person knows. She'll be able to figure it out. She'll help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, she can't. Well, what the fuck else am I supposed to do?
Well, it almost sounds like she just won't. Like they're like the way that the receptionist is coming.
Very
It's like,
flat.
so are you don't want to help me?
It feels like there has to be like certain, almost like an exorcism, the parameters.
Okay.
The standard we need to meet, but she's not as clear as she could be.
Right.
No,
right.
not, and just like no compassion.
No.
Yeah.
No sympathy.
She's like, we get ghoulish calls every day, dude. You're not special.
That might be true too.
Maybe, yeah. We see Walter walking down the street as his voice continues to plead with the receptionist that he'll pay. He'll do whatever it takes. She just needs to tell him what to do and he'll do it. The receptionist explains that the doctor doesn't take cases without analyzing the evidence personally, and she can't do that at the moment. Walter needs to know how he can provide proof when it can't be seen. The receptionist apologizes, but they can't help him. On the street, Walter passes two little boys playing soccer without even giving them a glance. We might see these kids later.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are on his own house, and when he reaches his gate, he pauses, staring up at it with exhaustion and pure fear. The score crescendos until Juan walks over, wondering, what's going on in your house, dude? I'd be like, I can't fucking take it. Juan, go home. Yeah. I can't.
It's like, you want to know what's going on? You want to fucking come inside and see what's going on?
He can't take anymore.
It's a hot one out there, man.
Yeah.
You ever been in a storm, Juan?
Walter asks why, and Juan is like, what do you mean? He says that his wall is all cracked up. They can hear Walter hammering. Walter says quietly that he's been remodeling the place, but frustrated, Juan points out that he cracked up the wall, the entire wall. Instead of responding, Walter looks back toward his house. Later, he sits inside, unboxing a brand new camera. He mutters to himself, you want proof? I'll give you proof. That night, as insects chirp outside, Walter is setting up the camera in his bedroom. It sits perched on a tripod, aimed down directly at his bed. Walter lies down on his back, looking up at the camera until his lamp suddenly turns off. In the new darkness of his bedroom, Walter closes his eyes tight and shudders. We are outside of Walter's house briefly before joining him again in his bed when he opens his heavily bagged eyes and finds that his camera has been knocked to the floor. His eyes drift up to the wall on the opposite side of the room to find a shadow, a large head presiding over long shaking fingers, contorting to make the shape of a dog. I think Walter and the Thin Man were watching Gremlins 2 last night. You know, you got some ideas.
Right?
I do want to say that the proof, like, from what we know or kind of go off of movie logic, it's hard to get a ghost on tape.
It is.
Like, we got to throw the baby powder or the flour on the floor, let them step on it. We got to whatever. Like, how do you want me to get you proof? That's why I'm calling you.
Exactly. This is your field.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do what you do. You're the expert.
Right. It's like, I'm having this experience. You come tell me if I'm wrong or not. Tell me it's a gas leak. That's why you're freaking out or whatever.
She's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I simply don't have time. Walter reaches behind him and tries to switch his lamp back on, but it's been unplugged once again. He grabs the cord and pulls it blindly beneath his bed, his trembling hand questing to find the outlet. When he slides the plug home, the light comes back on. Walter hops out of bed and snatches the camera off of the floor. He looks at the image frozen on its screen. It's of himself, lying in bed, with a tall man looming nude over him.
Pervert? Like, yeah, you're fucking watching me sleep with your ass hanging out?
Yeah.
Just add to the list, dude.
And I guess the camera did work.
It did.
I guess it did work.
He turns away from Walter and walks hunched over to the wardrobe. The Thin Man folds himself inside and slams the doors, causing the camera to fall from the tripod and crash to the ground, which is what woke Walter.
I have to say, I love this setup where it's like filling in the blanks in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed this too, because that's... I get woken up. I have proof of what woke me up, but now I got to deal with what woke me up.
I'm fleeing out of the front door.
Yeah.
Like, into the closet, into the closet. Like, I'd be banging on everybody's door. I'd be calling the police, the firemen. Everybody will listen. Like,
well, we already know Juan's listening.
Yeah.
All you got to do is knock lightly on your wall.
He's
Juan
like,
will come
son
over.
of a bitch.
He's waiting.
He is.
Horrified, Walter raises his eyes to the wardrobe that he's right outside of. He sets the camera back on the ground and stumbles into the next room, coming back armed with his gun. He enters his bedroom, the light bulb in the hallway shattering behind him. I appreciated him going to get his gun.
Yeah, but come on, dude.
Yeah, your weapons cannot harm me.
I
don't know how much faith I have in the gun. Walter loads his gun and points it straight in front of him, ready to fire. He flings the doors to his wardrobe open to find nothing inside but his actual wardrobe, clothing hung neatly on hangers. He searches inside, knocking everything loose until he's proven that the Thin Man is not here. He picks the camera back up and rewinds it, causing the Thin Man to step backwards to Walter's bed and preside over him once again. He asks in a shaky whisper, "Who are you? Who are you?" Walter rewinds to find the Thin Man crawling out from beneath Walter's bed as he slaves.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my God, it's so scary. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
He's got a life of his own.
You're just coming and going.
Yes,
Please?
yeah.
I have my routines. You have yours.
Yeah.
My God. And it's now that the doors to the wardrobe creak open again, and the Thin Man comes out, stepping forward on his long legs. Walter eyes the gun that he dropped on the floor in his haste to search the closet. He can see the reflection of the Thin Man unfurling himself from the wardrobe and the shining metal of the gun. But before he can grab it, the creature's long, bloody hand slams down on the gun. Simultaneously, the Thin Man grabs him from behind, and Walter lets loose a desperate scream.
So if he was able to slap the gun away, does that mean that I could have shot him?
Physical.
Yeah.
He was
That's
like,
true.
He was like, get this.
Yeah.
It's like my only weakness.
Bullets. But this is very scary.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. It is.
Like, and it is
Holy
like
shit.
its own little short story.
Yeah.
Honestly, from whenever they were in the mental health facility, it seemed like we should get a title card that says Walter.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You know? But yeah, that's where the anthology idea popped up because I'm like, this feels contained.
For sure.
Yeah.
Outside, water drips steadily from Walter's faucet as a soccer ball comes bouncing into view. One of the little boys from earlier, played by Matthias Roskovsky, runs over to retrieve it. And when he spots the spigot, he stoops to take a drink from it. He's drinking the water.
Yeah.
You made me think of the
Homer,
Simpsons.
he's drinking the water. Something bangs beyond the window in front of him and calls out, asking what he's doing here. He tells the boy to go away, to not drink that water. He bangs on the window again, asserting that he doesn't want to see that little boy around here. He tells him again to go away. Scared, the little boy backs away from the yard and into the street. The voice inside the house warns that it's for the boy's own good. But the little boy is promptly struck by a bus, his little hand still clutching onto his soccer ball and his eyes still stuck on Walter's house. Someone watches from behind the blinds in the window, and at the sight of the tragedy, they snap firmly shut and it cuts to black. I did have to abandon my bit for this one because I'm not gonna lie to you, I wrote it, but it doesn't feel appropriate.
I have to say, when I was watching it, I was like, this really puts Reneé in a tough spot.
Yeah.
It's like we can drop fucking dead or we can talk about the severity of what just happened.
Yeah.
Because
It's so shocking.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is spiraling out? Because that's what it feels like. Something is happening here that has spiraled to Juan and Clara and now has affected this little boy who just ran into the yard to get his ball.
Yeah. I was surprised when I seen that it was dude's yard. I was like, oh, we're in Walter's yard.
Yes.
I was like, oh, no.
And again, it's one of those things where you feel, especially with the urgency in Walter's voice, you're like, oh, he's saving this kid.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, no. So nobody's safe.
No one. Yeah,
No.
no one. In his house, Juan is trying to repair the deep crack in his wall when he hears something outside. Clara rushes into the room, asking with worry what happened. Juan looks out of the window and reports that there was an accident. So we're learning a lot of things now. This was before all this happened with Clara.
Yeah.
And when Juan was talking about his wall being cracked.
Yeah.
This is not what he would. Okay, I know that he was doing a lot. He running outside in his underwear, fucking calling him a son of a bitch, whatever. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is a huge hole in his wall.
Honestly, he was more calm than he needed to be.
Yeah, I was
about
gonna
that. He's
say,
like,
now I
the
understand.
whole wall's cracked, man. But looking at it, it's like, oh no, that wall's ruined.
That wall's fucked up.
Yes. The little boy lies lifeless in the street, the soccer ball abandoned against the sidewalk. His friend, Patricio, played by Lorenzo Luger, stares at him in detached horror, and onlookers are gathering when Juan joins them. The bus driver gets off the bus, and at the sight of the boy, he flees.
What? I couldn't believe that.
No.
I hope he's going to get help.
Yeah.
I hope. Juan screams for someone named Alicia before running to a nearby house and banging urgently on the door. Later, we watch as the boy's blood is power washed off of the street. It pools crimson in the gutter. Devastating.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about Rugna's like ruthlessness. Like he has no problem bringing children into the horror of his stories. Like this was so, and you know, rewatching it, I didn't remember us seeing what happened until I rewatched it. But I'm like, dude, after watching When Evil Lurks, I should have known. This, he like there's no line. You know what I mean?
And as horrible as it is, it kind of lends itself to an environment where you do feel like anything can happen.
Yes, absolutely.
I think is a refreshing feeling in a horror film to say that it is true that no one is safe.
For sure. Somber piano plays as Alicia, played by Julieta Vaina, is escorted back home after the funeral.
Julieta Vaina, she was in La Flor in 2018, The City of Your Final Destination in 2009.
Okay.
We don't get a lot of time with her, but I feel like every moment we have with her, she is really, really good.
1,000%.
Oh, yeah.
A lot is asked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clara and another woman physically hold her up in her grief, while Juan and another man trail behind.
Did anyone else find Juan's shirt disrespectful?
It was a little casual.
It was.
You're not going to the club with your fucking sleeves rolled up. Button up one of those buttons, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's got places to be later.
Yeah, he's like, I leave the house once today. It's like, dude.
It was a little.
It was casual.
It was a little casual. Clara holds Alicia on her porch, promising that they're here for whatever she needs. She tells her to try to get some sleep and that she'll stop by tomorrow to check on her. Juan, though, is looking directly across the street to Walter's house. Clara hugs Alicia before joining her husband as they make the short walk home. In another bedroom, Hano is pulled from his sleep by a ringing phone. On the other end is Comisario Funes, played by Maximiliano Gioni, apologizing for the hour, but assuring Hano that he wouldn't be calling if it wasn't something important. Hano sits up, telling Funes that it's okay. He asks what's going on.
Maximiliano Gioni, he was in 70 episodes of Love After Loving in 2017, Monte Cristo, 7 episodes of that in 2006, and Somos Familia, 176 episodes of that in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, more TV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel really bad for him in this movie.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He's not ready for any of that.
No.
And it is credited as comisario, but I think they refer to him as deputy.
Right.
Funes details that 4 days ago, there was an accident and a 10-year-old kid died outside of his house. He says that Hano better come down here and see what's going on. He implores that he really needs Hano's help. Hano immediately agrees, and Funes reveals that there's a unit on the way and they'll be at Hano's in an hour. Hano says that that's fine, and before ending their call, Funes asserts that Hano is the only one that can tell him what's going on. So this, I think, is an interesting way to bring Hano back into the story because we only know him from his meeting with Juan.
Yeah.
Right.
Alicia stands in her kitchen, framed against the night outside of her window as she smokes a cigarette in silence. When she hears insistent moving and scraping coming from another room, Alicia goes to investigate. She asks quietly who's there before shuffling to the window and sweeping the curtains aside. We can see that there are small, muddy handprints on the side of her house, but Alicia's eyes fall upon the small, muddy footprints leading up to her front door. The shadow of a boy falls over her porch. So even after everything that we've seen, this is shocking.
Very.
Unprecedented.
Yeah.
I feel, again, this might be another thing that kind of lends itself to this feeling of an anthology because it's like every single supernatural thing is so different.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, that's true.
We cut to Hano riding shotgun in a police car with its flashing lights on. After checking his watch, he comments to the driver, Officer Enrique, played by Ariel Chavarria, that it's too early, isn't it? Harried, Enrique is like, what? When Hano asks if he's okay, Enrique nods nervously and returns his attention to the road in front of him. So this guy's shaken up.
Yeah.
Funes is waiting for them in street clothes on Alicia's porch when they arrive, his hands stuffed deep into his jacket pockets. Hano approaches, asking if it's inside, and Funes confirms this by turning and leading Hano to the front door. But before they enter, he stops. He asks Hano, "Nothing really scares you, right?" Hano shrugs that you never know. Let's see. The two men enter the house.
This is such a good moment to understand Hano as a character
Yes.
and a person, but it's also a really good primer for the audience because I'm terrified.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to do that.
Once inside, we see Alicia hunched over her coffee table, muttering dazedly, still wearing her robe, with dirt streaked on her face and hands. She sits across from Officer Vanessa, played by Laura Manzaneda, who sits taking notes. Hano lingers in the doorway with Funes as he explains the situation. Vanessa was patrolling the area with Enrique when they saw the door open. They found Alicia like this when they entered the house. Enrique speaks up from behind him and asks, visibly unnerved, if he can wait outside. Funes says yes, and when Vanessa looks over at him, he gives her permission to leave too, and she doesn't waste a second on getting out of the house. Hano watches with a raised eyebrow, and once the officers have departed, he notes that they're scared. Funes reveals that they have a reason to be scared. Hano steps past Funes to get a better look at Alicia. With his voice lowered, Funes shares that her son died 4 days ago. Funes was at his funeral and at his wake. He asks, "Do you get it?" Hano nods, stroking his chin, deep in thought. He looks down at Alicia, who continues to whisper to herself, her dirt-streaked hands open in front of her. Hano looks down to find small, muddy footprints on the floor leading out of the room. He follows these footprints into the dining room, and there, at the end of the polished wooden table, sits the little boy, bloated and decomposing, dirty and still wearing the proper vest and buttoned shirt that he was buried in. His arms rest on the table, bent at the elbows, and a bowl of colorful cereal, a glass of milk, and cookies have been set in front of him.
We spoke earlier about visuals that are so haunting that they stay with you long after. This is one that I don't think I'll ever forget.
No. When I was telling John Paul, you've seen this, not realizing that he slept through the whole movie, I was like, if I say a little boy sitting at a table, if that doesn't ring a bell for you, then you were not present for this.
I wasn't.
No.
Yeah, you were.
You were not.
Because this is so upsetting, disturbing. Rugna had said that he wanted to do extensive makeup on an actual little boy and have him sitting at this table. And they were like, dude, like, no, like you can't A, do all that work, and B, expect him to sit there completely still and completely quiet.
Yeah.
So this is a puppet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the work is so good.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. And then seeing it, it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yes.
What is going on, dude?
Hano asks if this is the little boy, and Funes confirms this before confessing that the officers saw him move. After a pause, Funes swears that he saw him move for a moment too.
I think, again, like you're saying, what is so striking about this whole thing is it's not just a matter of the boy being here.
Yeah.
We have his entire path
Yes.
and entry into the house, all of it.
Yeah.
Not that he was taken and placed.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's footprints.
Right.
Unmoved, Hano steps toward the boy, sliding on his glasses and getting in close to his gray face. He inspects his shriveled, flayed, and dirty fingers. Hano slides the spoon out of the glass of milk, wipes it clean against his pants, and places it beneath the boy's nose. Cemented to his place in the doorway, Funes points out that the boy smells like a rotting corpse. Pulling away from the child, Hano agrees that he does stink. His voice low, Funes asks if Hano thinks Alicia could have schemed this. Hano directs Funes' attention to the little boy's hands. They're all torn up. He decides that he scratched at the dirt for a few days. Hano drops the spoon into the cereal bowl and returns to Funes.
That is, I think, the most horrifying to imagine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so upsetting. And the fact that he told Hano, if anybody can figure this out, it's you.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's trying to think of a logical, could Alicia have done this? Could she have had this arranged? And Hano's like, oh no, like, look, he clawed his way out of his coffin.
Yeah.
Like, that's the expert's opinion.
Yeah.
What the evidence is pointing to.
Yes.
Oh, man. What a bigger problem now.
Yeah.
Hano takes off his glasses, reporting that there are many cases of unearthing of corpses by relatives. Some can't stand the idea that their son is dead, and some are even crazy enough to steal the bodies. He proposes that they could check the mother's clothes, maybe find traces of bacterial infection or cadaverous matter. Funes looks at Hano, blinking before deciding. You're hesitating. Hano casually admits, yeah, because he seriously doubts that this is one of those cases.
Just gets more and more unnerving.
Yeah.
My blood would run cold. He's like, look, take tests if you want to take tests. Like, that's not what's happening here. Hano switches off the light and looks over at the boy. He says that that's just the explanation Funes can give. It's not the one he was expecting. Funes admits that this is true, and Hano doubles down that that's because it's not. But that is the explanation he should give. Funes looks back toward the living room with trepidation, only turning back when Hano asks, do you know this woman? When Funes is like, huh? Hano repeats the question, and Funes has to admit that he does very well. They had a really nice relationship for many years.
What?
So this is a whole other layer. I know that he did say he was at the funeral in the wake, but it's like maybe like locally everybody kind of knows each other. It's a tragedy, you know, but it's like, no, y'all dated?
That has to be you shouldn't be here.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lost in their conversation, both men have turned their backs to the table, but their attention snaps back to the boy when they hear a thud behind them. Hano switches on the light and they find that the glass of milk in front of the child has been knocked over. A trail of milk points straight from the boy to the men at the other end of the table. The boy has shifted, one of his arms resting straight forward on the tabletop.
I know we didn't say it earlier. We just kind of went by it. But, like, did he get this cereal and milk and all that earlier?
I think it's...
Or, like...
Probably an offering, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes it more tragic.
Right,
Yes.
right.
But that's, yeah.
And then he slaps it over?
The other... It's disrespectful. The other thing to me is that of when he did it.
Yeah.
After he said that.
Mm-hmm.
About having a relationship with his mother.
Yeah.
So I was like, is that also connected?
Huh.
Did he hate this dude?
Right.
Oh, I didn't even think of it like
yeah.
that. I was thinking like either it's an involuntary like gaining power kind of a thing, or it was like, why did you turn your back to me? Because they both have.
Yeah.
And it's also, is it even the boy anymore? At all?
That's a good question too. And I kind of have thoughts that I'll share later.
Okay.
Funes notices the boy's arms, reporting in a low and odd voice. He moved. Putting his glasses back on, Hano walks over to the boy and leans in to get a good look. Funes wonders, was his arm in the same position as it is now? Hano believes so, but Funo asks what he means by that. Hano sighs. Did they take any photos? Funes says no. They didn't do anything. Hano nods that it's okay. They shouldn't do anything. When Funes doesn't understand what he means, Hano decides that the best thing would be for them to bury him again. Funes steps forward, quietly appalled. He asks Hano if he's joking. Hano instead assesses the situation. He is aware of the difficulties this can cause. Imagine if a prosecutor's office got involved. Funes' friend would end up in the madhouse, and considering these circumstances, she would be there for years. He thinks they should try to find a way to avoid that. Doesn't Funes? Finally, Funes nods before questioning what he's supposed to tell his people. Hano shakes his head before deciding. They were just post-mortem spasms caused by the accumulation of gases. The body is in a state of decomposition.
Okay. You can explain that as how the milk was knocked over.
Yeah.
But I don't think that has any kind of bearing on how the hell he's even here.
Yeah.
I think the story would be...
Aurora Borealis?
Yeah.
At this time of day... I think the story would be that someone unearthed him and brought him here. And the police can be like, I saw him move. Oh, it was gases. He's decomposing. But you look me in the face and you fucking tell me that's what I saw, and I'm going to knock your block off.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Are you a cartoon character?
From the 50s.
From the 30s? Yeah.
Don't insult me.
No.
Yeah.
And especially with all the dirt tracks everywhere.
That's what I was going to say. There's a trail.
Yes. Funes nods before pulling his eyes away from the boy and starting out of the room. But Hano's voice stops him. He thinks they should get some injectable Valium. It's better if she's sleeping when they take her son. Fixing his eyes on Hano, Funes replies, "Don't ever turn the lights off again." Hano nods before looking back at the boy as Funes leaves the room. Alone now, Hano leans in close and lowers his voice to a whisper when he asks, "What's happening, kid? Why did you decide to visit us? What brought you here?" The boy does not move, and he does not respond.
You got to help us, kid.
Yeah.
Help me.
We got nothing.
Yeah.
Literally.
Move again.
I felt
Or
really...
don't.
Yeah, please. You scared me a lot. I felt really dumb because whenever he said, I'm just reading the subtitles, so I thought he was like, what's happening? Like starting a casual conversation.
No.
It's a different strategy. But
I'll just act super chill.
Then he'll have to answer me.
It's the bright of day when Hano finally leaves the house. Mud is smeared on the front door and on the posts of it. But Hano is looking across the street instead at Walter's house, where a woman stands on the outside of his yellow fence. Sitting on her couch, still dazed, Alicia tells Officer Vanessa that she needs to call her sister so she can get a priest. Funes stands by, nervously checking his watch and pulling on his beard. Alicia's voice cracks with emotion as she pleads that she doesn't want anyone to take him away. Please don't take her baby away. Outside, Hano watches the woman across the street, who we now see is Mora, snapping pictures of Walter's house. He takes a step forward, but he stops when Funes pulls open the curtains of the window, making eye contact with Hano and tapping his watch. Once Funes disappears behind the curtain again, Hano makes his way across the street. He asks if he knows Mora, and he notes that she's very interested in taking her pictures, but doesn't he know her from somewhere? When he gets close enough, he realizes, aren't you the specialist, Mora Albrecht? She confirms this before asking who Hano is. Hano gushes that he can't believe he's finally meeting her in person. He introduces himself with his pleasure as Mario Hano. He reveals that he attended several of her conferences, Paranormal Activity, Metasymbiosis. He admits that he's curious. What is she looking for here? Can he help? Mora shows him a stamped letter and asks if she's at the right address. When Hano says that she is, Mora turns back to Walter's house and remarks that that's strange. She pressed the intercom button and it seems like someone picks up, but no one speaks. He won't pick up the phone. Hano furrows his brow. That's a very alarming.
Yeah.
Given everything that we know.
Uh-huh.
Mora wonders if Hano knows Walter. Has he seen him lately? Hano says no. He explains that he doesn't live here either. Realizing that this is more than a coincidence, he asks if Mora will come with him. He invites that it's really interesting. As pensive piano plays, Mora follows Hano across the street to Alicia's house. Before they reach the door, Funes opens it and steps out. Hano introduces Dr. Albrecht as his colleague before correcting, an eminence, really. He's a big fan. Yeah. We peer through the windows of a car to watch them, panning across as Funes asks to speak with Hano privately. It's funny that he's like, an eminence, really? And Funes is like, can't talk to you over here.
Well, he's like, he has no idea, right? He doesn't know who she is.
Hano steps to the side, but Mora remains, gazing up at Alicia's house. When Funes asks if Hano called her, Hano denies that he did, but insists again that this is more than just a coincidence. Funes dismisses that it doesn't matter. They won't be able to move the boy anyway. When Hano doesn't understand, Funes tells him to look at the time. It's a mess. People are around and they'll see them. Hano's like, you're not telling me you can't solve the issue with the cemetery, right? He reminds Funes that he's the deputy. But as Mora snaps pictures of the little muddy footprints on the side of Alicia's house, Funes says that the cemetery isn't the problem. There are too many people around that will see them with the kid. He declares that he's not going to do it. Mora pages through the pictures she's taken on her camera, and Hano counters that they should still do it. It's the right thing to do. Reluctantly, Funes agrees, but when Mora raises her camera to continue taking pictures, he cries out for her to stop. He turns back to Hano, who assures Funes that she knows what she's doing. Funes repeats that she's taking pictures, but Hano implores that he please trust him. He repeats himself too. She knows what she's doing. It's funny to me that every time Funes like asserts something like, we're not doing it, Hano's like, we should. He's like, all right, we should. Like, he's just so easily.
I don't know if it's the respect he has for him.
Well, he did come to him, you know, so it's like, fuck, okay, you're right.
Yeah. Well, it does look weird. It's like you just went and tried to hit on this lady across the street, brought her back. Now she's taking pictures.
I'm trying to impress her.
Yeah.
It does look
He doesn't know.
Indicating his face and head, Funes confirms that Hano knows about his health problem. He reveals that he's retiring in 2 months without a single stain on his record. He points toward the house, insisting that Hano doesn't understand the kind of trouble this can cause. But Hano says again that it is the right thing to do. Funes shares that Alicia's friends are on their way. They're coming to have tea, and the kid is still here. Hano pleads with Funes to listen to him. He reminds the deputy that he hasn't slept. He's nervous. He tells him to take the officers, go to the cemetery and figure out the burial. Leave him and Dr. Albrecht with Alicia, and they will find a solution.
What is this, a sitcom? Call them.
Yeah.
And tell them not to come over. Like, but they'll be here in 20 minutes. It's like, dude.
I invited 2 dates and they both said yes. Before he walks away, he adds for Funes to send the patrol away before the neighbors start asking questions. He leaves Funes and steps over to Mora with a nervous chuckle, but Mora just wants to know what Hano is hiding. She points to the side of the house, where among the smears of dirty, childish handprints, there are the small, pointed prints of the boy's shoes along the side of the house. They continue up to the top of the porch's awning. Imagining this is so upsetting and disturbing.
Yeah.
Following Hano's instruction, Funes comes out of the house with the officers. When Hano reaches for his arm and asks him to listen, Funes interrupts. No, you listen to me. He confirms that they're doing everything right. Hano agrees before informing Funes that they need to get 2 bags of concrete. Funes is like, for what?
Yeah.
What do you think?
They're going to give him cement shoes or something?
Oh my God.
We're going to repair her sidewalk.
Yeah. First things first.
I don't understand.
I was a little confused. I what the fuck, dude?
What else?
Yeah.
Hano asks him, what do you mean for what? He wonders if Funes wants the boy to be able to get out of the grave again. Shaking his head, Funes mutters, damn. He walks to the car. Again, This man is not ready for any of this.
No.
We really should have passed the baton. And I like Funes. I think he's doing his best. He is out of his element.
Right.
This is not for him. We should have passed the torch to Hano and gone home.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for him already, and I only feel worse for him as the film goes on.
I half understand that. Another part of me is like, really?
There's some incompetence. There's a little incompetence happening.
there is. I do like him though. I don't know why I get this weird like Richard Grieco, Michael Madison kind of vibe from him.
I can get that.
And he doesn't make good decisions later, but
he's out of his element.
Right. But it is like he is an interesting character that I am paying attention to.
Once Funes is gone, Hano follows Mora into Alicia's house. Her eyes are on the trail of the boy's small muddy footprints on the floor. Alicia sleeps on the couch as Mora surveys the room and remarks, "That smell." Hano elaborates, "Something rotten." Mora corrects him, "No, not rotten, dead." Hano declares that they're speaking the same language. He leads her into the dining room, and we watch them from over the boy's shoulder as he sits, still presiding over the head of the table. Mora sees him, shoots a glance to Hano, and then continues forward, her camera dangling from around her neck. We press in on the boy, sitting in front of the glass of spilled milk, his head now at a slight tilt, one of his eyelids cracked open and revealing the white of his eye beneath. Hano quickly walks back into the living room, and after a pause, staring at the boy, Mora follows. So he looks different. He is in a different position.
Yeah.
Hano is already sitting in a chair in the living room when she enters. He invites her to sit down. He wants to tell her something. Mora sets her bag down and settles into the chair across from Hano. He shares that he worked for the forensics department with Deputy Funes for 15 years. He performed many autopsies, and one day he received the corpse of a 20-year-old man with 14 bullet holes in his head. He had no other choice but to remove his face, and he inspected this man's skull for 5 hours. All of a sudden, the man grabbed his arm. He squeezed it and then opened his eyes and looked right at Hano. Mora asks, "He woke up?" Hano shrugs, admitting that he thought he was just stressed out, but no, it happened again with an old man. "You thought you were just stressed out?"
He's like, damn, I need to get some rest.
Yeah.
That's beyond.
What the hell are you doing at work?
For this to be man.
Yeah.
It's not. I thought I saw his foot twitch.
No.
He opened his eyes, looked at me, and grabbed my arm and squeezed.
Yeah.
It was just gas escaping.
That's just the story. Hano says that the man had been dead for 2 days when he woke up. He looked at Hano and he talked to him. Hano glances over at the sleeping Alicia before confessing that it didn't occur to him that calling the police wouldn't be the best idea. So that's what he did. They came to the morgue, and Hano implores Mora to imagine how that poor man's son must have felt. He concludes that these things happen, and they happen when we meddle with things that are not of this world. He thinks that they should just let these things go sometimes, pay less attention to them, at least less attention than usual. Mora finally speaks up. She proposes. The old man passed away and he blamed his son for his death? Hano nods, confirming this, and Mora admits that she thinks she read his book. Hano is surprised by this, and when Mora compliments the cover of the book, he sits there with his mouth slightly agape. He is starstruck.
Yeah.
Did anyone else think this was like a morbid little meet cute?
Oh yeah, we're getting married after this.
Yeah.
For sure. Outside, Patricio, the other little soccer-playing boy, is sliding down a wall streaked with dirt to land in Alicia's backyard. A soccer ball floats on the surface of the pool as Patricio walks along, snatching up a trail of toys and stuffing them into his backpack. But when he gets to the sliding glass doors of the house, he pauses before raising his hand. Patricio knocks on the glass, having spotted his departed friend sitting at the dining room table beyond it. He stares in confusion, his little hand continuing to knock until the boy slowly begins to turn his head, his joints and bones crackling. His face is gray, swollen, and bruised, his eyes puffed mostly shut when he turns to look toward the glass door, and the score squeals in alarm.
The score was great,
Oh, yeah.
but wow. This is beyond. We saw maybe like some imperceptible movements of him knocking over the milk and stuff.
Yeah.
This is straight up turning to face somebody.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. It's undeniable now.
Yeah.
I would like to think that I would haunt my friends too. Like if they came, I'd be like, "Oh shit, is that Blaine?" And then fucking scare him
And ruin his life.
Then scare
Yeah,
him.
I'd be like, "Oh shit, it's the JP." But I did it out of love, man.
Is that, well, I mean, ghosts have different
Different
different values.
Yeah. In the living room, Mora is showing Hano black and white photos of Walter in his bed, the nude, thin man looming over him. Hano asks what makes her think these are, but Mora interrupts, assuring him, they're real. She wouldn't have come all the way out here if she had doubts. Hano concedes that he's not saying they're fake, but it is a very strange coincidence. Mora offers that maybe it's not a coincidence. Their conversation is broken by the sounds of a boy's screams, crying out for his mother. I'm not completely sure how Mora got a hold of these.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the thin man got him immediately.
Because
Well,
he took
dude.
this the night, unless
The thin man faxed them to her.
it was done to coax
Yeah.
people to the street.
It was on purpose.
Yeah.
What did I say? I can't. What was it? The house sent them.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
yeah, like Hell House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah,
That's
Tully
what
sent
happened.
him.
Mhm. Oh,
Not
God.
Sully.
He's got time for TV interviews.
Yeah.
Hano and Mora race into the dining room to find the side door open, but no one there. Hano closes the door, realizing someone came in. He stoops down, and we note the mud dripping from the reanimated boy's shoes. Hano stands back up, holding Patricio's dropped backpack. He pulls a notebook out as Mora declares, the body needs to be moved. Hano looks down at the cover of the notebook, belonging to one Patricio Navarro, his name spelled out in a child's careful cursive. But someone is recording on their phone as Hano carries the boy out of the house, wrapped in a plaid blanket. He stuffs the boy into the freezer in the backyard as Mora watches. Once he closes the lid, he asserts that no one at home will believe the boy's story.
This is
Which is the
I know.
this is not good for the recording.
Yeah, why the fuck would you say that?
kind of the worst thing you could have said.
I sure hope no one's taping this.
No.
But we catch a glimpse of Patricio filming all of this with his phone as he lowers himself behind the yard's wall, going back the way he came. With a grunt, Hano puts a heavy potted plant on top of the freezer lid before turning to Mora and explaining, just in case.
So something I wondered, the boy who has returned,
Mm-hmm.
there was more mud on the carpet whenever...
Patricio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did he attack Patricio?
Huh.
Because there was movement. There was like signs of something, that not just turning your head and finding someone
Yeah.
here.
And his shoes were like, they were dripping.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So I was like, is that what happened? And
Yeah.
why he screamed and ran away and then became TMZ?
Yeah, well,
PMZ.
Yeah.
his dead friend's emoting in the kitchen, dude. He's
Yeah.
like, shit.
Like, I got it.
There's
Get outta
more to this
here.
story.
Funes knocks on the front door and Hano goes to let him in with a sigh. Looking into the living room, Funes notes that Alicia is still asleep, but Hano says that she won't be for long though. They need to act fast. Funes shares that he solved the cemetery issue and Hano goes next, revealing that they had to move the boy. He's in the freezer. Outside, Funes looks down at the freezer with the plant perched on its top. He kneels down and presses his ear against it, hearing something just beneath the steady hum. He tells Hano to unplug it, and when he does, the sound becomes clear. The high-pitched sobs coming from inside the freezer. Looking up at Hano, he breathes, "Son of a bitch." But he stands back up with the start when the boy throws himself against the side of the freezer. Hano decides that they need to move the entire freezer, and Mora adds that Funes is going to need to collaborate with them if he doesn't want this to happen again. Funes looks up at her, breathing heavily. The sobbing from inside this freezer was so fucking upsetting and disturbing, and I know I keep using those words, but they fit every time.
It reminded me so much of the Verdulok segment in Black Sabbath. The boy who returns from the grave, crying for his mother.
Yeah, okay.
It was,
I thought it was like, man, Ghost, you suck, dude, or whatever the fuck's going on.
It's like manipulation. Yeah. We cut to Mora sitting between Hano and Rosenstock at their interview with Juan. So it's like, okay, we're kind of getting a concept of the order of events.
Yeah.
Hano reveals to Juan that they do have the deputy's approval, but that's not enough. Juan needs to authorize some papers for them to be able to move forward. And Mora adds that they'll also need his approval to stay at his house for a few days. Juan shrugs and asks why. So Mora explains, to investigate further because many other paranormal events have happened in that same area. His house is one of the affected areas, and his neighbors have already accepted, so they still need his approval. Without another word, Juan picks up the pen and signs the paper Mora slides in front of him. Mora thanks him, but Juan asks with a furrowed brow, what does it all mean? We find Hano, Mora, Funes, and Rosenstock taking their bags out of a vehicle parked outside of Walter's house, as Hano explains to Juan in voiceover. It means that each of them will be staying in a house where they believe the paranormal events are taking place. Luckily, they have the help of Dr. Rosenstock, who is Dr. Albrecht's colleague. He's been in charge of similar investigations before in other parts of the country and in the United States.
I was glad that because whenever we finally get back and we have Hano and Mora's story, it's like, who's this other guy?
Yeah.
But then you wonder, you're like, well, they did have this 1998 United States case. Maybe he brought it to her.
Right. That they said was similar.
Okay.
Yeah. Juan's voice asks what happened to Walter, and Hano admits that they don't know anything. Nobody's seen him for a long time. Juan can only accept this and wish them luck, because they'll need it. Funes opens the front door to Walter's house for Rosenstock to step inside. Heaps of furniture are thrown together in the living room, and Rosenstock scans with his flashlight while Funes lingers, watching in the doorway. Hano enters Alicia's house and switches on all the lights in the entryway in the living room after setting his suitcases down. Mora is set up in Juan's house. She swings the beam of her flashlight along his dark living room. Hano makes his way into the dining room, his gaze lingering on the empty chair where the dead boy once sat. But in Juan's house, Mora has made her way into the blood-spattered bathroom. The room illuminates with flashes as she photographs the evidence of the horrors sprayed all over the walls. Afterwards, she sits at a table in front of a strange instrument. Golden pieces are set on top of a wooden platform. She shifts it to the side, studying a golden orb suspended from its stand. Her eyes linger at the end of a thin gold chain swinging pendulously. So this reminded me of the contraption we see in When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
And again, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's none of my business. In Walter's house, Rosenstock steps into the bathroom, his flashlight shining in front of him. Funes backs up, standing in the hallway when Rosenstock surveys the room. Looking deep in thought, Rosenstock tucks away his flashlight and pulls out a UV light instead. Holding it up and sweeping its beam along the walls, it's now that Rosenstock reveals the scribbled handwriting that glows under the light. Handwriting and handprints. He looks to Funes with a sly grin.
So does that confirm that someone's been messing with stuff they shouldn't have been? Is that like glyphs and stuff? What was that?
Ooh, maybe.
Okay.
And because he looks like he's been proven right. Like as I thought, that's how he looks
excited. He is excited a little.
Yeah. And he gets more excited as things get scarier.
Right.
Funes walks quickly into another room. He takes out a cigarette and puts it in his mouth. Rosentalk enters after him, and as he readies a light with his back to Funes, he begins. You are... Funes finishes for him. Afraid, yes. He says that it's normal, so he's not going to deny it. And Rosentalk agrees that he won't deny it either. He's scared too.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
But don't tell me that shit.
Yeah.
You're the one that knows. You're the expert.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're supposed to protect me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mora is still sitting in front of her contraption when her phone rings. When she answers, it's Funes on the other end, telling her that they got in. Mora asks if they were able to check the house, but Funes tells her that the bill was never paid, so the electricity is off.
That would suck to be in that house. I've got no electricity. I don't know where anything's at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to place lights strategically to hope that it helps me.
No, thank you. We cut to Funes, standing in the darkness of Walter's living room, as he adds that he could get it back on if he could fix one of the connections. But Mora decides that that's not necessary. To find what they're looking for, it's better to have the lights off. Of course it is. Of course it is. Funes doesn't look excited about this, but he accepts it. He tells Mora that they'll keep her updated before ending the call. Rosentalk is still setting up when Funes asks him sincerely, what is it that we're looking for? Rosentalk answers, evidence. They're looking for clues that could explain what happened that night. Funes clarifies, just clues, right? Rosentalk turns and offers that Funes could choose not to be here tonight. He muses that fear is... He struggles for the word, so Funes helps him. Contagious. Rosentalk repeats this with a nod. Contagious. He's like, dude, you're creeping me out.
Yeah.
Funes sighs before revealing his health problem. It's an issue with coagulation. And to add to that, he can't hear very well. To illustrate this, he draws Rosentalk's attention to the hearing aid clipped around his ear. Rosentalk reasons that this is not a suitable place for Funes.
Do you think this concept of something being contagious being brought up is to say that whatever is going on here also is, and that it kind of infects from place to place? Like it could have started in Walter's house. The boy drinks the water. It's in the street. Like it, you know what I mean?
Huh. Yeah.
I mean, that tracks.
Yeah.
In Alicia's house, Hano is setting up with recording devices and compasses on the dining room table. He stands for a minute, listening to the steady drone of the equipment until the phone rings. When he answers, no one responds. It's not until he asks if it's Mora that a voice replies with, hello. The woman asks to speak with Alicia. Hano tells her with apologies that Alicia has been staying with her sister for a few weeks. He offers to give her the number and reads it off of a sticky note for her. When he asks who he's speaking to, the woman hangs up on him and the phone beeps in his ear.
So was that really a friend, or was that the devil, like our friend downstairs?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like, because
Yeah.
that was weird.
It
Right.
was odd.
Yeah.
Hano hangs up the phone and decides to check the answering machine. The first message is from a woman who identifies herself as Sarah. We learn that she's Patricio's mom. He came home without his backpack, and he told his mother that he went to Alicia's house to look for his toys. He says that he left it there, so if Alicia could please let her know if she sees his backpack. Hano has ventured into another room, but he stops walking. Hano's like, he didn't say anything else.
Not about an old man carrying something or
The boy
freezer.
his family will never believe it. Despite Rosentalk's and honestly his own warning that he shouldn't be here, Funes is still following Rosentalk around Walter's house. When they get into the kitchen, Rosentalk points out a cluster of cutlery, forks, knives, and spoons dangling from the bottom of a cabinet. Rosentalk comments that that's strange, isn't it? One of the spoons is flush against the wood of the cabinet, and when Rosentalk touches it, it dangles down like the rest of them, suspended by an unseen secret. Funes crosses his arms as the spoon swings back and forth. Rosentalk sweeps his arm through the silverware, earning nothing more than the sound of them clattering together as they swing. Please stop touching.
Yes.
Please stop doing that.
He's excited.
He is, but he's treating it like a harp or something.
Yeah, he is.
And he's gotta knock it off.
It's not a harp. At Alicia's house, Hana was looking at the childish drawings hung up on the fridge with magnets. The messages are still playing, and Sarah leaves another, asking Alicia to call her back because it's urgent. The next message plays, and Sarah pleads that she's been trying to reach Alicia for days. Patricio recorded something very strange with his phone in Alicia's backyard.
It's like, fuck.
I guess they did believe him.
He climbed the wall just like they used to, and Sarah doesn't know how to tell her this, but they're very scared, and Alicia needs to see this. It's about her son. Hano turns, listening intently before making his way back to the answering machine. Sarah continues that it's also about Alicia's ex, the policeman. She doesn't know what to do. She begs Alicia to call her. She's overwhelmed, and she'll try to find another way to reach her. So maybe that was her calling.
Oh,
okay.
But
it didn't feel like it.
No,
it
not
was
at
like
all.
pretty detached and kind of scary. Or maybe Alicia trying to see who was in her house.
I don't know. It reminded me almost of the static coming through Walter's intercom.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You
That
know?
felt a little ghosty.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. But this is not good.
No.
And
No.
she's like, and Funes is wrapped up in it. It's like, shit.
Anna's like, but I'm in the clear, right?
Yeah. You don't know my name.
No. So did we ever get closure on that here about Patricio's mother? Does she? Because I was worried that she was going to pop up or show up. Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think so.
Okay.
Mora is still sitting at the table in Juan's house. Suddenly, the ball at the end of the golden chain begins to swing, and the orb clatters loudly as it moves on its own. Funes is standing nervously by while Rosentalk runs his hand through the silverware.
I swear to God. So isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
But suddenly, a knife flies upward, taking a shortcut through the meat of Rosentalk's palm to slam into the bottom of the cabinet. Rosentalk is stuck there, his hand impaled by the knife's blade. He struggles and tries to pull himself free as Funes rushes to his aid, pleading with him to stop moving so he can help. Funes tries to yank the knife down, but at the sound of a low, insistent slurping, Rosentalk tells him to stop. They realize something is sucking the blood.
This is beyond what I thought was happening here.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, Rosentalk, you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't suitable for
No.
me. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Rosentalk looks up with horror, understanding now that there is something inside the cabinet and it's sucking. Funes finally lets go of the knife and takes a step back. He pulls out his gun and takes aim at the closed cabinet. The blood dripping down Rosentalk's injured hand has pulled upward as the thing within the cabinet continues to drink. Wordlessly, Rosentalk reaches up to grip the handle of the cabinet, and when he pulls the door open, it squeals on its hinges. Funes stands, his gun ready, but there doesn't seem to be anything inside. Abruptly, the dangling cutlery, now joined by a metal colander, glides along the bottom of the cabinet. It comes to rest beneath another cabinet as the thing inside presumably moves out of harm's way.
I feel like this shouldn't end here. I think it's clear that it's in the other side. So let's open it up and start blasting.
Yeah.
Rosentalk begs Funes not to shoot, as now, without the thing slurping from his spilling blood, he's able to grab the handle of the knife and yank it down, freeing himself. Rosentalk doubles over, pleading with Funes for help. Funes aids Rosentalk in exiting the room, but keeps his gun aimed at the cabinets.
It's like, you win this round. Like, what are you doing?
I will say I did have to script a sequence with cabinets recently, and I do prefer this one because it doesn't end with the leprechaun pinching someone's dick. So this one was a lot scarier.
There's different tactics.
There is.
You know? God, he really went for it, didn't he?
He did.
Rugna said that they just used magnets in the cabinets to dangle the silverware from.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. He said it works for the film, but it was a complete nightmare to shoot. Like T said, this is a real kitchen in a real house, and they only had 3 hours to get it done.
Wow.
He said it was a nightmare to maneuver the actors, do everything that they needed with the silverware and the magnets. He said he's so proud of the way that it came out, but he hates watching this scene because it just makes him remember how hard and frustrating it was. And I remember him saying the exact same thing about a scene in When Evil Lurks, that he was proud of the way it came out, but watching it makes him relive the nightmare of shooting it, so he doesn't like to watch it.
Okay.
At Juan's house, Mora is still looking at her instrument when the phone rings. When she answers, Funes tells her that things have gotten complicated. Rosenstock is hurt. Rosenstock has bandaged his injured hand and is now injecting a syringe into his palm through the blood-stained gauze. He calls out for Funes to tell Mora that he's fine. But Funes insists that Rosenstock should see a doctor. It's an emergency. Rosenstock holds out his hand for the phone, and Funes passes it to him. I'm like, nobody's taking this. Laura's like, you think maybe we should get Rosenstock to a doctor
As soon as possible.
It's like, dude, he's fucked up.
He is.
So
He
went
is.
through his hand.
Yes. But he injected himself with that like anti-ghost medicine or whatever.
So he's fine.
Yeah.
Why did I do
he's
this
all
earlier?
Pressing the phone against his ear and settling into the couch, Rosenstock tells Mora that they're on the right track. When something clatters from elsewhere in the house, Funes looks up, beads of sweat standing out on his forehead. In the next room, an item falls off of a desk and slides on its own across the floor. Mora is glad to hear that they're on the right track, and Rosenstock adds that he thinks this is the niche. Funes doesn't understand, so Rosenstock searches for the right word. The nest! They're inside the nest. Not better.
No.
No.
As Funes turns to look at Rosenstock, an alarm clock levitates off of a table behind him and smacks against the wall, the bells chiming. Funes turns and stares in horror as it begins to glide up the wall. But Rosenstock is unfazed, and on the other end of the phone, Mora shares that she's glad to hear that, and it's a pleasure to work with Rosenstock. He thanks her before ending the call.
The vibes are not where I thought they would be at this point.
No.
Rosenstock tells Funes that he needs to clean up all trace of blood. Tightening the gauze on his hand with a pained grunt, he says that it's going to take some time for the painkiller to kick in, so Funes needs to hurry. He needs to clean up all of the blood they left around the house. Funes is like, me? It's like, same?
Yeah, I don't. What the hell?
And I'm like, I don't even remember you going in these rooms.
We're
How
just
the hell? How the hell did you do that?
You were bleeding all over the fucking
Yeah.
place.
It's like, oh, and I did use the bathroom. It's like, when?
He doesn't understand why, but Rosenstock interrupts, pleading with him again to hurry because they don't have much time. Time here passes very fast. This just gets worse every time you open your mouth. Funes snaps into action as the score grows intense. On his hands and knees, he scrubs up the trail of blood Rosenstock left on the floor between the kitchen and the living room. But when he gets closer to the kitchen, he pauses. He stands, staring at the blood left along the floor and on the counter. But when he hears low and concerning sounds coming from the drain across the kitchen, he tosses the towel and backs out of the room. So he did not finish his task.
No.
At Alicia's house, Hano pulls Patricio's notebook out of his backpack again. He opens it and reads where Patricio wrote out his information for if his notebook is lost. And just as he picks up the phone to dial the number at the bottom of the page, his attention is pulled away. What was he going to do?
See,
What the hell were you going to say?
That's a good question. It's like, you better not snitch, kid. I was glad that something more was happening in another location because it was like, this is really imbalanced. Mora's sitting there with her contraption. He's sitting here reading this kid's diary or whatever.
Yeah.
And this dude's getting stabbed through the hand. There's
Yeah.
blood everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, this better
Yeah.
start evening out.
It's ramping up.
It is.
The drinking glasses on the shelves across the room are quaking, chiming lightly as they rattle where they rest. As Hano stares at this, the phone rings. It's Funes on the other end, informing Hano that he's leaving. Hano assures him that that's okay and not to worry about it. I do appreciate how everybody is like, no, dude, you can go. It's fine. Like, we understand.
Nobody is like, no, you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, we get it. We're afraid. Fuck off.
I will. Like, you're dragging the whole thing down.
Well, he said it a couple times now.
Yes.
It's like, all right,
But I will say the tune changes in a little while. So now you guys need me quite a bit. Interesting.
Well, he had his chance.
Standing in Walter's kitchen on the phone, Funes apologizes. He's not sure he's good at this. Hano is still calm, assuring his friend that that's okay. But Funes continues to stammer forward, admitting that he is terrified. Roll credits.
Mm-hmm.
Hano knows about his little problem. He's seen things here that don't have an explanation. He can't explain them. Hano is staring out the window as they talk, and when he repeatedly calls Funes' name to interrupt, Funes snaps at him. What? Hano wants to know where he is. Annoyed, Funes reports that he's in the house. Where does Hano think he is? But Hano's like, what part of the house? Funes says that he's in the kitchen, but from the window he's staring out of, Hano is looking at another window, and he tells Funes, there's a guy by the window. That's not you, is it? Funes asks, his bloody hand pressing the phone to his ear. What the fuck are you talking about? We peer through the gates outside of the window with Hano, and we see that it's definitely not Funes.
No.
The window.
It's like, are you sure you didn't strip naked and shave your head?
Yeah, no.
And grow 2 feet.
Yeah, like, are you positive?
It's someone bald and seemingly nude. Hano says that he's not in the kitchen. He's in the room next door, but breathing heavily, Funes asks repeatedly, Where? There's no one here. What the fuck is he talking about? Hano squints his eyes, looking through the window, swaying back and forth. He leans to the left and sees the figure in the window. But when he leans to the right and the window passes behind one of the bars of the gate, the figure is gone. Hano's like, it's weird. I see him, but at the same time, I don't see him. He leans left. He's there. He leans right. He's not. He leans left. He's there. He leans right. The thin man is standing right on the other side of the gate. Hano sucks in a fearful gasp of air and stumbles back with a jolt. Funes cries out for his friend, asking if he's there.
This, look, is incredibly effective as far as the jump scare is concerned. Mm-hmm. It is really funny to me that Hano is in Australia and America way too many times.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, you haven't grasped yet?
Yeah.
What is happening? He's like, let me try. Maybe it'll switch. One more time. But it's good.
It is, but it is too many times. It's like, come on, dude.
It gives you like... Because you're sure it's not going to go on for that long.
Right.
So you're expecting it and it doesn't happen. But you are expecting it. That's why I was like, how did that still get me?
It was.
Because it did. In Juan's house, Mora is oblivious to all of this. She pours a liquid from a dark bottle into the waiting cup of her contraption. It's still moving on its own, but her attention is drawn behind her to the faucet when she hears a gurgling going down the drain. Mora stands and goes to inspect it. She turns on the tap for a moment and listens as the water flows down the drain. She looks back at her instrument, which seems to react to this. As the faucet steadily drips, she moves away. She goes to the giant hole in the wall and reaches her hand toward the open gap. At Walter's house, Funes frantically tells Rosentalk that he's leaving. This isn't for him. He's done. Instead of addressing this, Rosentalk looks at Funes with wild eyes and reveals, below us, I found him. He invites Funes to stand next to him, and breathing heavily, Funes does. Holding a lantern, Rosentalk drops to his knee next to the bed, and Funes follows suit. Rosentalk grips the end of the dangling blanket and lifts it, revealing underneath the bed. When there's nothing there, Funes comments on this, but Rosentalk corrects him. It's not empty. He holds up his bandaged hand and shifts it back and forth, illustrating that it depends on the point of view. There's more than one point of view. With a small smile, he goes across the room and invites Funes to join him again. The score grows ominous as Funes slowly moves, keeping his eye on the bottom of the bed. And as he turns from the side to the back of the bed, he sees it. In what was just an unoccupied space, there are 2 large and bare feet perched beneath the bed on their toes, ready to pounce. Funes' features go slack in his shock and horror, but Rosentalk's smile has morphed into a wide grin. He proclaims, "Darkness, light, 2 realities sharing the same place and time, darkness and light." Funes peers beneath the bed, where the feet push along the floor, while in the shadows beneath, the top of the thin man pulls himself toward us. Somehow, another head lurches forward with a ragged gasp, pulling himself along on bloodied hands, his eyes rolled to whites. Funes screams and pulls his gun again, demanding to know what that is. It moved. He pleads with Rosentalk to tell him what it is. But as the thin man scurries backward toward the shadows under the bed, Rosentalk just continues to smile.
Of course, I understand if this is your life's work and you've got something this concrete and true or proving your theories or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to be pretty overjoyed about it. But his fucking entire...
I was like, are you in on this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be here with you anymore.
Yeah. If I didn't want to leave before, this should make me want to leave
That's
now.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah, you can stay.
Yeah.
So you seem enthused. as
Yeah,
hell.
yeah. You like this, I don't.
And good luck to you. But this explains why Walter was staring underneath the bed and he didn't see anything.
Yeah.
And then when he had gotten into bed and we pan back down, he's there.
I think it only makes those moments even scarier because he was literally, face to face with this thing. Had no idea. And then it makes you think about your daily life.
Yeah.
Naturally.
How often,
But
Right.
you know what else it makes me wonder? What the hell was going on in that bathroom with Clara that Juan couldn't see?
Ooh.
What was doing that to her?
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't even...
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
We cut to outside of Walter's house, where Funes comes stumbling out through the front door. He staggers forward, unsteady on his feet, panting for air. He stops across the street, struggling to catch his breath. He holds his shaking hands out in front of him as he continues to look back with horror at Walter's house. Finally, he races forward. We are peering through the hole in Juan's wall out at Mora as she continues to inspect it. She answers when her phone rings. It's Rosentalk, declaring that he found what he was looking for. Mora nods that she's glad it went well. She continues to explore the outside of the large crack with her hands, as she adds that she always thought it was what he was looking for. She wonders, what do they do now? Rosentalk admits that he has no idea, but he proposes that they document as much as possible. I love that he's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I found whatever quest he's been on, it's here, which is fucking terrifying.
It is.
But it's like, I don't even know what the next steps are. We document everything.
Yeah. Well, we've never been to this point yet. We haven't made it this far.
And it's been at least like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still panting and out of breath, Funes stumbles into Alicia's house, calling for Hano. He's met with nothing but silence as he continues forward, but he freezes when his boots crunch into broken glass on the floor. The glasses on the shelves begin to tremble again, and Funes looks at this with fear. He pulls out his gun. Funes keeps that thing on him.
He
Okay.
does.
At this point, it's like, I don't know what good this is going to do you, but I mean, thank you for having it. Carefully, the hinges protesting loudly, Funes pulls open the door on the hutch where the glasses rest. He breathes a sigh of relief when there's nothing inside, and he slams the door. But there's still something wrong. Something interacting with his hearing aid creates a horrible screech, prompting a wincing Funes to switch the device off. With the high-pitched sound gone, there is an unmistakable rasping groan coming from inside the hutch. Funes listens intently, pulling the hutch away from the wall. This prompts a loud thudding inside, something smacking against the wood from the inside. Fed up, Funes uses his fingers to peel away the back panel, but he staggers back in horror when there's someone looking at him from inside. Peering through the hole Funes has made, we see that it's Hano. His eyes are gouged and blood trickles down his gray face like tears as he screams for Funes to let him out. There are glass splinters in his eyes.
This is, again, we haven't seen him in a while, and so you can only... But you couldn't. There's no way that you could have guessed this is what's going on in this place.
No. And the last time we saw him, that was the I'm in Australia, I'm in America.
Yeah.
So it's like, did he crash through the glass and blind him?
Yeah. And then shoved him in that thing. But then he ran back and crawled under the bed.
He's busy.
God damn, dude.
He's real busy. But are there more than one? Because there were two heads underneath that bed. So I don't know.
I thought he was just like, that's just the thing he does.
Right.
Because his body contorts.
Maybe, you know what?
I just got confused.
Yeah, maybe. I don't fucking know, dude, but I don't want anything to do with it.
But do we help this ghost or no? Yeah, because it's Hano, or is it not? Or
is he dead? He's
dead. I don't.
He looks great.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't look good.
No. His eyes are most of the trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. And I think that Funes, he's like, all right.
He doesn't know either. He's going to be hitting the old dusty trail. Mora is still peering into the hole in the wall when she finally catches sight of something. Eyes reflect the beam of her flashlight as they stare back at her, sunken into a shadowed face deep within the wall. Gently, Mora speaks. Mr. Karabahal, can you hear me? She tells him who she is, and she asks if she can hear him. A gray and cowering Walter peers back at her from within the wall. And I'll tell you what, I'm about to fuck you up. Because you're telling me your name, the doctor that I've been calling for fucking weeks for help, that couldn't see me, and now you'll come to my house when I'm a fucking ghost trapped in this wall?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna fuck you up.
She was busy.
No.
You heard the receptionist?
Yeah, the mean ass receptionist.
This did look good, though.
It did.
This looked real good.
Because we haven't seen Walter since he got.
No, and then seeing him through the crack in the wall like that looked cool.
And there is something about him being clearly dead, but also still scared.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my God. And we're looking at him from Juan's house, not his house.
Right.
So what's happening in this crack?
Calm down, everyone.
I saw eyebrows go up.
Little decorum. Bring it back. A man died.
It's the name of my autobiography.
No, it's not. What the fuck is happening to this show? You get to episode 318 and everything goes crazy.
It all falls apart. I just be saying stuff. I don't know. Sorry, everyone.
You have prepared remarks.
Yes.
Let's return to those.
Mora turns when Funes enters the room, gasping raggedly for air. He reports that his friend, Hano, he's not okay and he needs help. Mora asks if he's all right, and Funes admits that he's not. Mora bids him to calm down and to not believe everything that he sees tonight, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Hearing that, it made me almost feel like things might be okay for people
that you don't think they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Funes pants that he was hitting the sides of the cupboard and asking for help. He tore the sides of the cupboard and he tried to get him out, but he couldn't. Mora remains calm and tells Funes that not everything he sees is real. Funes holds out his hands, showing Mora the blood on them. He tells her that this is not his blood. He didn't get hurt. This is his friend Hano's blood. This is Rosentalk's blood. He implores her, "What do you mean it's not real?" Mora just tells him to go wash his hands. He shouldn't have blood on his hands. Not here. So this is the second time that we've been told about the blood. She turns back to the wall with her flashlight, educating Funes casually that these beings like blood. She asks if he's used any tap water tonight, but Funes shakes his head and takes a few steps from her. He just asserts that he needs to leave this place. Mora nods and places a call to Dr. Rosentalk.
So this, and I feel like this is an interesting development with the blood, but it makes me think as well about Clara, like, were they trying to create more blood, not just kill her immediately, and so they have it for themselves? And Walter, I'm very puzzled because Walter, he just seemed to be, I don't know, an inconvenience or something? Because there was really nothing about Walter that made it to where he would be attacked, right? If blood's their thing. But Clara, 100%.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, because clearly that's what they like. Because that thing in the cabinet was slurping it down.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And this, it seems like whatever happens next is maybe because of Funes.
Oh, maybe. Mora tells Rosentalk that they need to stop the investigation. They've become too exposed. Rosentalk does not answer. Funes speaks up, asserting that there has to be some kind of explanation. But Mora shakes her head. Not really. Funes reminds her that he's going to have to explain this to other people too. Mora offers that there is a theory, and Funes nods, eager, promising that he'll understand. Mora explains, they study coexisting dimensions. These dimensions are organized like segments of an orange, and there's life in both. Water is the channel used by microscopic beings. They can gather, nest, and reproduce, and they can use our bodies. Funes sinks down to the floor, sloshing water from a bottle onto his hands to clean them. Mora admits that she doesn't have a clue what kinds of beings these are, or why they're so aggressive. Funes questions if there's a way to stop this. Mora's like, what? Funes tells her, all this that you're telling me. The corners of Mora's mouth raise into a smirk as she scoffs. No.
So they're just more like almost documentary filmmakers. They're like, we don't get involved. We figure out it's here and then that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
I was going to say, so then what was the point of all this? You brought us here to what? Document the neighborhood going down?
I mean, to get answers, I guess, because, I mean, I don't know.
But you're not really getting involved.
Yeah.
You're
and
just
if we can't stop it.
Well, the way that she's saying it is, this is just happening. Like, there is no way to stop it.
Look, I got to be honest. If we're going to highlight a problem and not do anything about it, why are we highlighting it? Like, let's just let it be. Let them have their world.
Yeah.
And we'll have ours. Like, if we're not going to try to fix this or stop it or solve it, then why are we even here?
Yeah, and or if you guys aren't, can I? Let's try some stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's what science is, trying to explain the unexplainable, even if we can't, like, we can explain weather. We can't do anything to change it, but we can understand it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but the weather's not hiding under my bed.
No. And we made umbrellas a thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking make
There's
an umbrella.
rain boots, dude.
Yeah. Like, look, we're just going to get wet. All right? Like, what are you saying to me?
There's nothing we can do about it. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Something else that I thought about kind of goes into the same topic where we were speaking about the blood and them wanting it and everything. They washed that boy's blood into the sewer.
Yeah.
They sure did.
Which is a channel of water.
Mm-hmm.
They sure did.
So, I mean, that's got to be something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly, a hand with impossibly long fingers juts out of the hole in the wall and grips onto the top of Mora's head. With a quick jerk, it pulls and breaks Mora's neck, and the thing within the wall snatches her inside.
This film has become so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Because she's Elise Rainier.
Yes!
I thought that we were going to get a little more.
Right?
Yeah.
Nah. Funes can't comprehend what he's seeing. He clutches his chest and falls to the floor, his face tight with pain, his heart pulsing in his ears. He cradles his arm, holding it against his chest as he lies helpless on his back, oblivious to the thing coming out of the wall, horrifically huge with its long, deadly arms and spindly fingers.
He looks like Carnage, doesn't he?
That'd give me a heart attack.
But yeah. God
Yes.
damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rugna had said that this was another 6 hours of prosthetics for this creature. And he said that once it was done, he chose to shoot it mostly out of focus because he felt like it was scarier to never get like a full look. I agree.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what the fuck? Like, what now?
Yeah.
And honestly, that is a pretty bold choice to just focus on Funes instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. We pan down Funes' body to the hole in the wall where there is nothing inside or outside. And then we pan up Funes' body again to find the creature in its dimension, shuffling its red, bloody body along the floor toward the deputy. Funes squeezes his eyes shut as it gets closer and closer. The score dies away when we cut to Rosenstock in Walter's house, looking through his equipment. He catches sight of himself in the viewfinder of a camera aimed at the door behind him. The door squeals on its hinges as it opens, and Rosenstock peers over his shoulder fearfully. Meanwhile, Funes is waking up on the floor of Juan's house, his flashlight dropped but still on behind him. He takes deep breaths, pressing his hand against his chest before rolling onto his back. He reaches into his jacket pocket for his phone, but his voice catches in his throat when he tries to speak into it. He breathes heavily, trying to catch his breath before finally sitting up. He sees the chair where Mora sat, now empty. Instinctively, his hand goes for his ear, but he finds that his hearing aid is gone. He spots it on the floor next to him, and as he picks it up, an end table comes sliding across the floor by itself. Mora's chair slides against the hole in the wall, and another joins it, the furniture all gliding in the same direction.
I gotta be honest, after a giant creature coming out of the wall and breaking this lady's neck, some furniture moving around really doesn't do anything for me.
I get that. I feel like it's just like it's pulling, like it's getting stronger. Like this, I feel like this crack in the wall has got to be like the portal, right? Or like the opening of whatever this is.
Yeah, some kind of force or something.
And so it's like, oh, it's not content with like just snatching things in now. Like now it's pulling things to it, which is like not cool, you know?
Is that what you would say was being done with the silverware as well?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, because I'm like, what, or were you laying a trap? Like, what the hell was that? Because
they'll see it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And they'll have to touch it.
They'll play it like a harp, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it felt like
true.
the end game there was drinking some blood, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Huh.
I will say though, I thought that because Mora was like, don't believe everything that you see. When Funes woke back up, I thought that maybe Mora was going to be sitting in the chair and that he had a heart attack seeing something that didn't actually happen.
Right.
So, but that's not the case.
No. That would be interesting though.
Yeah.
It would. I'm almost wondering if maybe these entities themselves or whatever they are, maybe they have that force. Because if it was in the cabinet and they were all there, then it would be magnetized or being pulled towards that entity every
just
time,
from it being there.
Right. And then every time it got out from under Walter's bed, the bed was moving. Maybe it wasn't the entity moving the bed. It was it being pulled towards whichever way it was coming out from under the bed.
Well, was it entering the room with them to get under the bed whenever the clock started climbing the wall?
Oh, it could have.
You know?
It could have, yeah.
Like things that maybe it's like you can't see them, but that may be a way to track their movement.
It's reacting, yeah. Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah, because if not, it really doesn't explain the knives.
No,
yeah.
Just for fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was creepy. Funes crawls away, still fighting for air. He sinks against a counter and puts his hearing device back on, wincing at the loud whine in his ear. It's now that he notices bloody fingers gripping the edge of the countertop above his head. Funes looks up, terrified, as a head peers over from behind the fingers, bloody and blistered, staring back at Funes through a cloudy eye.
It's the same guy.
Yeah. He's like, hey! Funes scrambles away from the counter and turns back to find that there seems to be nothing there. His heart thuds loudly in his ears, and once again, he sags weakly against another counter, trying to catch his breath. It's when he looks back up that he sees Alicia peering through the window and into the kitchen. When he hears the front door open, he turns to look from his spot slouched on the floor, his gun pointed and ready. When Alicia steps into the room, her skin streaked with dirt, he lets the barrel of his gun fall toward the floor. He tells her breathlessly, I had a heart attack. He asks her for help, pleading that they can't be here much longer. He tells her to take him out of here. But Alicia isn't trying to hear it. Her red eyes are rimmed with tears when she tells Funes, You made everyone think I was mad. You made me believe that it wasn't real. Clenching her fist, she tells him, you took my baby away and someone saw you. She saw him. She saw the videos. She saw how he hid him. He wanted to hide her baby. She tells him that he covered her son's grave with concrete. Why would he do that? She demands that he answer her. Funes swears that he did it for her, to give her an explanation that he can only give to her. He implores her, take me to the hospital, please. So, like, did they drug her because they gave her sedatives?
Yeah.
And then just take him away and act like, oh, no, that didn't happen? Or, oh, no, you did that? Or what did they tell her?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got to be honest, what we witnessed next, I don't know that any of this is even happening.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We literally don't know. We cut to Funes, staggering out of Alicia's house by himself. Across the street, she's getting into her car, and when Funes reaches her, weak and struggling to breathe, she tells him to get in. It's when Funes opens the door that he sees the little boy, freed from the earth once again, sitting in the back seat. Alicia explains flatly that she wasn't going to leave him there. She wasn't going to leave her baby in a cemetery.
See, how long does it take for concrete to dry?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I'm like, I don't know that this is even happening.
I don't know.
She is dirty.
She is, but
I mean, not like concrete dirty, but like dirt dirty.
Yeah, but
that's because they use 2 bags.
Yeah.
And did they, I mean, there's just so many possibilities. Did they fill the freezer? Did they put the freezer in there and then put it on top? Did they, like, what?
I don't know.
What
Because
happened?
he had said we're going to have to move him in the freezer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. And that means that she did meet up. If this is happening, she did meet up with Sarah and saw the video.
Well, the other thing as well is if you're thinking about it from the perspective of the cemetery, there is a plot that's just wide open right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his casket open.
Yeah.
And so what I imagined was returning him and then filling it with concrete.
Right.
So it's like, how would she get through that?
I don't know.
Huh.
Dazed, Funes lets the door fall closed and stumbles back away from the car. As she shifts out of focus, Alicia repeats that she wasn't going to leave him, keeping his eyes on her. Funes goes across the street and gets behind the wheel of his own car. His eyes are still fixed on Alicia in her vehicle across the street, turned away from Walter's house behind him. He doesn't see when something comes rushing out of the house. Her neck severely broken and her head flopped over backwards, the back of her head resting against her chest. Mora runs right up to the window, her neck stretched and long with her head dangling. Her mouth is upside down when she bangs her hands against the window, begging that Funes still has time. He needs to save them. Her palms leave bloody prints against the window that smear when Funes shifts his car into gear and speeds away. Mora screams his name, begging him, crying out that they're being tortured.
Just a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, this reminds me a lot of a scare that never made sense to me in the first Smile.
Listen, I wanted to say the same thing.
Okay.
And I am a Smile apologist at this table. This feels completely stolen.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
In that universe, does that scare even make sense in Smile?
I mean, it does to the point where you can't believe what you're seeing, like it's driving you mad, whatever. In that context, yes. But I mean, it makes a lot more sense here.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
But I also, because not to pile on it or anything.
Well, hold on.
Well, I don't have anymore. I hated that scare. But I love it here.
Yeah.
I do think that it is a really scary thing that they're proposing, that it's kind of like they're in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm not. Call me whatever. I can't stay here and help you. You run at me like that.
No.
Like I
ask nicely.
Yeah. Fix your head.
Yeah,
come
fix
on.
your head.
Face me.
Yeah.
It's like death becomes her. Put your head on straight. I am really upset by this notion of you can still save us.
Uh-huh.
Like it is like you said, like they're trapped in this limbo or
Yeah.
trapped. Like, what does that mean? You can save us like from the torture, or we are still in some dimension alive in ourselves. You can help us. Like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
And Funes was not sticking around to find out.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Because is it like save us by killing us?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Funes makes a hasty escape in his car and he does not look back. Later, he pulls over to the side of the road, staring with wonder at his own flexing fingers, the bloody smears of Mora's handprint still on his window. As he sits in silence, his radio chirps intermittently. He ignores it for a while before finally picking it up and speaking. Copy. It's Officer Enrique. He asks if Funes is there. He's been trying to reach him for hours. He reveals that the police station is in mayhem. Funes' friend came, that kid's mom. She was looking for him like crazy, and he had no other choice but to tell her where Funes was. You had a lot of other choices, Enrique. What do you mean?
I know.
Oh, yeah, no, he's in your house right now. What? What do you mean? So, I mean, maybe she was there. I mean, I don't know. She went to the police station looking for him. They told her where to find him.
I'm honestly puzzled by this whole section.
Yeah.
Because even some of the things that Enrique's saying, it's like, are you just saying the most nightmarish shit that you can? Like, is this real? And then he starts bringing in the higher authorities. It's like, the president's mad at me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is real.
Well, this kind of makes me think that some of what he's doing isn't real.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like, dude, is life going on and you're doing something else?
Almost like you're in another dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, man. Maybe
time
it is.
going faster here.
Yeah, maybe it is. I will say, watching this, I'm just like, hell yeah, man. Like, I'm just into it. But when
that is true.
when you stop to ask, it's like, wait, I don't know. What do you mean my mom's mad at me?
Yeah. How did you call? Like,
I have an exam. I'm in my underwear. As Funes listens with no reaction, he plucks a cigarette from the pack and slides it between his lips. As he lights the cigarette with the match, Enrique warns through the walkie that she's on her way, and he did everything he could to stop her, including telling her exactly where
you can't fix it now.
No,
man.
yeah, no.
He asks if Funes is there. The mayor came too.
What are you telling me?
Yeah, no shit.
Enrique said that he put his own career at risk, and he asks again if Funes is there. Funes sits smoking in silence, and he doesn't answer until Enrique tells him, I'm here. He came looking for Funes, but he doesn't see his car. Funes finally snatches up the walkie and tells Enrique to get out of there now. He declares that it's an order. When Enrique doesn't answer, Funes tells him again, emphatically, cursing in his desperation to get out of there. He pleads with the officer to confirm that he heard him. Enrique finally answers. He's outside of Alicia's house. Funes' car isn't here, but he sees his friend Hano.
What?
Run!
Yeah.
Funes squeezes his eyes shut and presses the walkie against his face. Enrique admits that he can't see very well, but Hano is standing outside the house, acting strange. Very strange.
Why are you narrating
I know.
everything? Just drive.
Yeah, just leave, dude. Leave.
Stranger than strange. It's like, okay.
Get out of there. His voice low, Funes tells Enrique again to get out of there. Finally, Enrique responds with a Roger that. He says that he's leaving. Funes settles back in his chair and continues to smoke his cigarette, the bloody handprint on the window catching his eyes, and suddenly, looking down at the burned cigarette between his fingers, the ash piled high, Funes seems to have an idea. He throws his car into gear and heads down the road, back the way he came.
The way that's shot, him getting this idea, the framing of it, I expected something to happen in the window.
Yeah.
So many times, which I think is really good for how this film is directed, because you do feel uneasy constantly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
His tires squeal as he makes a hasty turn back onto the sinister street. The driving score pulses as Funes opens the back of his vehicle and takes out 2 full gas cans. He heads to Alicia's house. He cries out for her, pleading that they need to leave. He sets down the gas cans and peers further into the house, his back to someone dangling from their neck in the room behind him. Funes takes one of the cans and sloshes its contents down the hallway. He pauses outside of a bedroom. On the door is a child's drawing of a smiling boy and girl. Because the boy scrawled his name across the top in crayon, we finally learn it. Pucho. The door's white paint around the door handle is smeared with dirt. Funes grasps the handle and opens the door, cracking it just wide enough for him to peer inside through squinted eyes. On the neatly made bed sits a smiling plushie of Finn from Adventure Time, and Funes is nearly satisfied when Pucho suddenly appears in the gap in the door. His gray and bloated face is only visible for a second before he slams the door. Funes jumps back in alarm and does the only thing he can. He raises the can and dumps gas against Pucho's door. He sloshes more into the hall and back the way he came toward the front door, but it's now that he sees her. Alicia hangs from her neck, dangling from the dining room door frame. Funes looks upon her with defeated grief. He pants, lost, before finding his resolve and dumping gas on her body. He upends the can, leaving a trail of the gas on his way out of the house.
The whole thing is tragic.
Mm-hmm.
That jump scare at the door is so diabolical.
Yeah.
It's awful. And when you think about it longer, it feels like she put him to bed.
Yeah.
And then went and like it's just so sad and it's so fucked up. And more of what we were saying earlier, the question that you posited, T, I don't think that this is him. I think that the entities are using him because Morris said they can get in our bodies.
Yeah.
Right?
And he drank the water. Like I think that it just took the opportunity and it's just so unfair. It's so fucked up and sad.
And even after death, it still exists within it.
Yeah.
That's so maybe they used the concrete as a precaution, but it found a way through it too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if that's what it is,
Then it's possible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's in the water, they got to mix the concrete with the water.
No, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Man. Everything's...
Yeah,
Yeah.
it couldn't be worse, really.
Did anybody else think of the Ghost House Pictures vanity plate whenever he did the door thing?
That's good. Once outside, he lights the match, nearly doubled over as he struggles to fight against his failing health. The light from the flame flickers against his face, but before he can throw it, Hano suddenly appears. His eyes are replaced with translucent bloody bulbs that roll in his sockets. Wordlessly, Hano blows out the match, extinguishing the flame with a puff of air. Strings go wild in the score as Funes' eyes go wide and he falls backward. He scampers back and without his match, he does the next best thing. Funes takes out his gun and fires. The flames are immediate, and as the smoke billows, Hano turns to watch with his horrible new eyes. Pucho's drawing goes up in flames against the door, blackening and shriveling in on itself.
The blowing out of the matches, the reveal, so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No, it's
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
And it is interesting to learn that something that I do in Red Dead and GTA is true. You can just shoot the
Just
gas.
bang.
At the facility, Juan is led into another meeting room. He eyes the people sitting at the table with suspicion before sitting down. But this time, it's not Rosentalk, Mora, and Hano, but 3 new people. It's Officer Enrique, Mazziero, played by Hugo Hallbrick, and Razioni, played by Fernando Diaz, who produced both this film and When Evil Lurks.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hugo Hallbrick, he was in The Last Getaway in 2007, Dying God in 2008, and Rage of Honor in 1987.
Interesting.
Maciero introduces all of them to Juan with the mention that this conversation is being recorded with Juan's consent. He presses the red button on his phone screen to initiate the recording. He tells Juan that the testimony of anyone here lacks legal value. Speaking toward the phone, he reports that it's October 3rd of the current year at 6:40 p.m. Juan sits quietly, his brow furrowed. Finally, Maciero presents Juan with 3 photographs, one of Mora, one of Rosenstock, and one of Hano. He asks if Juan recognizes these 3 people that visited him last year.
I could not believe it.
Damn.
Juan nods and confirms that he does, but when Maciero asks if he remembers their names, he admits that he doesn't. Maciero says that Juan does remember talking to them, though. What did they say? Juan explains flatly that they came to help him because they had proof of why his wife disappeared. Maciero presses, "What else?" Juan says that they had him sign papers. Maciero dismisses this. "Yes, the authorization. What else?" Juan shakes his head. He doesn't remember. He was medicated. Razioli speaks up and asks if Juan knows Deputy Funes. He slides a photo of Funes in front of him. Juan says that he does know Funes. He's a police officer and he was his neighbor's partner, Alicia's.
They're like, his agent let us borrow a headshot.
Maciero clarifies, "Alicia Perez?" Juan says yes. Enrique inquires, "When was the last time you saw him?" Thinking back, Juan remembers seeing the deputy the day Alicia's son was buried. Maciero wonders if there's anything else about Deputy Funes that Juan would like to tell them. Juan thinks. Funes told him he was about to retire. He had a health problem. They didn't speak about anything else, though. Maciero explains that Enrique here is cooperating with them. He saw Funes set Walter's house and other houses on fire. There were people inside. Funes is a fugitive, and they believe him to be involved with Juan's wife's case. When Juan offers no response, Maciero leans over and whispers something into Razioli's ear. He shifts his attention back to Juan. "About your wife's case. The scientific police found fingerprints with her blood, not only in the bathroom, but around the rest of the house, too." He admits that it slowed down the investigation as Enrique shifts uncomfortably. I'm like, is he lying?
Yeah. I don't understand.
It seems like they're covering it up.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Oh, trying to. Damn.
And that to me,
Yeah.
and that Enrique is like, because Enrique said he left, but they're like, he saw Funes set your house on fire. Like, I don't know. It seems like they're pinning everything on him, saying he set the houses on fire. He's a fugitive, and he's probably connected to your wife's case too. Like,
So-
it seems like, I don't know.
Right.
That to me, if Rugna is thinking about Terrified 2,
Two.
that is the jumping off
Okay.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did say it begins the moment that this ends. Like, it was
Okay.
meant to be a proper double feature. Because he said that to him, that's what a true sequel is. It picks up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But Juan is looking past Maciero. He points over Maciero's shoulder behind the 3 men facing him, asking, "Did he come with you?" Enrique and Maciero turn to look behind them, but there is no one in the open doorway. Maciero looks back at Juan with concern. "Who?" Razioli presses on, admitting that the events they're investigating aren't conventional, but Juan isn't listening to them. Instead, he twists Rosenstock's photo so that it's facing the others instead of him, and he slides it back across the table. Maciero says the doctor's name, and Juan agrees, but he doesn't look like that. His face is burnt. He's once again pointing over Maciero's shoulder toward the doorway that looks empty. Juan insists in a whisper, "It's him." At the table across the room, a chair moves on its own, the legs screeching loudly against the shiny floor. Juan nods. "He came with you." Maciero looks fearfully at Razioli, but Juan just repeats himself with certainty. "He came with you." The chair suddenly takes flight, flinging itself toward Maciero, Razioni, and Enrique, toward Juan, and most importantly, toward us. And just before the impact, it cuts to black and the credits roll in red. So, what did you guys think of Terrified? Before that, though, let's unpack this ending a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a little, I'll be honest, a little cheesy with the chair flying back. But after our conversation, when we're talking about like these entities pulling metal toward them,
Yeah.
is it like there's something behind us?
Huh. Okay.
It seems a little more clever to
Yeah,
think of
yeah.
it that way.
I do like the setup for it,
Yes.
Yes.
where
yeah.
he's like pointing and there's nothing there.
That's very
That is
scary.
so
but the
good.
chair being like,
like, all
wow,
right.
it's a little, feels a little like early 2000s,
It
like kind of
does, it
cheesy.
does.
We need Mudvayne, I think.
Yeah. Oh God.
We always need mud. But I'm sorry. What are your thoughts?
I did like this. The more we talked about it, it kind of made me think a lot more of like the It Follows universe, kind of how that entity follows them and like the rules of that. And this here too, they're the point of view. It's like they're there here, they're there, they're not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, okay. But I really did enjoy this. I think a lot of the scares, like you said early on, T, I think they really work and they are effective, and it's really cool because on one hand we don't get a lot with the characters, so we're just kind of going off of their vibes and kind of, you know, what we get through the movie. Also the same thing with the rules, you know what I mean? We're learning as we go through the movie about what's going on, and we kind of don't, because like when we get to the point where Mora's like, you know, her and Rosentalk are talking, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Just nothing, you know, there's nothing to do.
Let's write it down.
Yeah, and when she's like, no, there's, you know, this is just it. I don't know how to stop it. It is like, damn, we're just here. Shit started happening. People who are supposed to know what's going on showed up. They don't know what's going on. This is going to happen whether we like it or not. And I think it does set up for the chair flying is a little cheesy, but I do think that the movie does a really good job of setting up those scares. And even that, though it's cheesy, like y'all were saying, there not being anything in the corner was like, okay, that was fine. I don't mind the CGI chair. I don't mind it because that was fine, because leading up to it was cool.
I also think it was a very bold choice to not show anything ever in the doorway.
Yeah.
Like even looking at it from a different angle or something, it's like we never see it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that is the biggest strength of the film, is how well crafted those scares are.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of moments that are just flat out unsettling that did return to me as I was trying to go to bed last night. You know?
Yeah.
Like thinking about that creature just folding itself in half to fit under a bed.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
This, you know, Hanno's like, will they, won't they? Between that fucking thing. That was really creepy.
It was.
It did go on a little too long.
It did.
But at the same time, the payoff is fantastic.
It was.
I like how long it went on. It starts to feel like agonizing because it's just like, put me out of my misery. I know you're going to do something.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I did laugh thinking about the possibility of Funes watching him from the other window.
Like, what is he doing?
I don't know. But I don't know. I think that there are a lot of good things here. I think my only real complaint is just feeling kind of underwhelmed narratively.
Okay.
I feel like there are these bits and pieces of lore that leave you able to kind of figure it out for yourself, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
I think I just want more from these characters.
Okay.
Because I think that there is a possibility for them to be richer characters. The way that we get Mora and Hanno, they feel lived in. I feel like the other people don't really.
Right.
For me.
Okay.
But I think that everything else, I think that there's a lot of really, really cool sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ending. That setup is like goosebumps inducing.
Yeah.
Did he come with you? And then everybody turns and there's nothing there. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that this one is one to watch. I don't know. There's something that's leaving me a little bit underwhelmed in some aspects.
I get that. It makes me wonder too, him seeing Rosentalk burned.
Uh-huh.
We never saw him die. Like,
No.
was he still alive in the house when Funes burned it down?
Yeah.
I know the fire, like, that's not where he started the fire, but they're all neighbors. And they were like, he set your house on fire and several other houses. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Because Juan wasn't there.
Right.
He has no way to know. He hasn't seen Rosentalk since that meeting. You know what I mean? We saw Hanno get attacked. We saw Mora get attacked. We saw her, stretched neck at the outside of the house. We never saw Rosentalk.
No. Honestly, he was kind of the most mysterious of the three.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
And like in a weird way, the most knowledgeable about what was happening here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. And it does make you wonder, what would he have done with that sequel? I don't know if it's put to bed. I would hope not. You know, I would think that he would want the same people if he's picking up exactly where this leaves off. And as T pointed out off mic a few minutes ago, this movie's almost 10 years old. Yeah. So it's like you know, let's get going. And you know what I mean?
I would think the buzz created from When Evil Lurks would kind of give him the...
You would think.
Oh, yeah.
You know, write your own ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I kind of love this movie. I think that when we kind of started looking at it too closely, there are some things that don't fully hold up. But I will say again, when I'm watching it, I'm not thinking these things. It's only when we slow down and kind of analyze it. Yeah. Because I was just along for the ride, you know, and the visuals are so creepy and at times so upsetting. That little boy, even knowing that that's a puppet propped up at a table, it's so like... it just sticks with you and it breaks your heart. It's just so sad. The whole thing with him and his mother, it's just this really tragic piece of this story that's got so many moving parts. And the seed even being planted because we're so concerned with what Clara has seen in this drain. And that being the opening of the movie, we're not even really listening to Juan when he was like, that dog's alive. The dog we killed is alive. But it's like, dude, no. Dead things are getting back up. And you told us in the first scene, you know, that's interesting. And the thing with the water, like the bus gets hit after the little boy drinks the water. Claire's trying to take a shower. Like there are these like.
And the very good point you made about the concrete.
Yeah.
That is a terrifying point, actually.
Yeah.
It's a very scary point.
What's the deal with the concrete?
But I mean, I think that there are genuinely scary moments in this film. And I think that that's something we don't encounter very often because a lot of stuff feels very played out and predictable. And even the predictable scares in this were still scary to me. And that doesn't really happen. So, I mean, I don't know. There's something, I think I really enjoy the way these weird fucking universes that Rugna crafts. I enjoy the way he tells a story. I enjoy the way that he doesn't spoon feed us what is happening. But I will say that was probably a little more successful for me in When Evil Lurks than it was here. Because once the credits roll, there are a few more things where you're like, well, hold up. What happened? What was that? What did this piece? You're enjoying it in the moment. But like I said, if you look back, you're like, I'm a little confused.
Right.
But I think we can slide into ratings. I think that this, while some of the scares or some of the creatures are a little CGI heavy, which I don't love, I think that the creature design is really good. Really, like, the Thin Man is going to stick. Why are you, like, I was going to say, why are you naked? But, like, who's making clothes for him? You know what I mean? Like,
well, he's spent enough time in the wardrobe. It's like, fucking put a pair of pants on. For God's sake.
Put two pieces of pants together and put them on. It's just really disturbing. It's really creepy. Like I said, that visual of the little boy. I love the scene with Hano and Funes in the dining room where you kind of somehow shift away and you're lost in their conversation. And the boy's like, no, bitch, like, hello.
Yeah.
You know, it's frightening. It's tragic. I think that, and again, I know I already said it, but there are moments I have to give it its flowers. There are moments that genuinely creeped me out. And I'm always going to sing the praises of a film that can do that. After, you know, the countless films that we've seen that we haven't covered and 318 now that we have, there's not very many where we can be like you said, T, I was thinking about this when I went to bed.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you deserve a crown for that.
Yeah.
When we revisit a filmmaker, it's hard to not compare to the other works that we've done. And I will say, I think after revisiting Terrified, that When Evil Lurks does a little bit more for me. But this film is great.
Yeah.
This film is great. So on a scale from 1 to 10, big beings beneath the bed. He was big.
He was.
I am going to give Terrified 8 out of 10 big beings beneath the bed. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
And I will now open the floor to you.
No, I agree. I had a lot of fun with the movie, and I really enjoyed it too, watching it for the show. I think it is one of those movies too, you just kind of got to watch it. Just watch it and then kind of take it for what it is. Because if we are slowing down to ask questions, there is a lot of things that we still have unanswered. Like, again, us talking about the ending, about him being like, I seen him light everybody on fire. It's like, okay, so is that what you seen, or is that what really happened? Because if we're in this like weird void of where this is happening, did it make you think you seen him set those people inside on fire? Or was Funes seeing what was actually going on, so he set them on fire?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the truth here? And I will be honest, I do agree with what you said, babe, about When Evil Lurks doing it a little better than kind of, what we get in here. Because this T, I agree with you as well. I think that this feels, or it should have been like an anthology. Each house could have been its own story, and the way we connected it was at the end we see it's the same block.
Yeah.
They're across from
Right.
each other, neighbors or whatever. I don't know how we would have done it with Walter and Juan, because they're right there. You know what I mean? But I'm sure there would have been a way. There could have been a way. But I really, really enjoyed this feeling of being not knowing, because again, there is a little bit of realism to it. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm just here. If stuff's going on and I'm like, look, dude, I've got a bad ticker already. My heart's not great. And I'm here. I don't know what's happening. Of course I'm going to have a heart attack. Of course I'm going to do what I think is best to just burn it down or whatever. And if I'm in this field and I'm exploring and I'm doing experiments and I find this house where it's like, oh no, it's here. It's here. I'm going to be a little giddy. I'm going to be a little happy and scared. But again, we don't know what's happening. So them even being there and being like, oh no, this is all new to us too. It is like, oh, we're in all uncharted territory. Nobody knows what the fuck's happening. But it is a fun little story. And I did enjoy, everybody did great acting. Everybody did what they're supposed to do. A lot of, like what we said, the scares were set up great. And like you said, T, I would recommend this. You know what I mean? I'd watch it again. And with all that being said, for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, big beings beneath the bed. Thank you for that, babe. That was a lot of
You're welcome.
I'm going to give Terrified a 7.5 out of 10. I really liked this movie. But yeah, I think the more we talked about it, it was just like, you know what I mean? The questions, there's just more questions.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you said too early on, babe, with a rewatch, I feel like this will be fun. It'll get better every time you watch it.
And I do wonder how much of those questions could be answered in that. Is it a graphic novel or a novelization?
Yeah, I'm not sure what
that's
it is,
true.
but the
'Cause
cover
I bet
looked really cool.
It
Yeah.
did. It did.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that is really just the only thing that's really holding me back, because I feel like I have no problem with ambiguity. I like kind of filling in the blanks ourselves and maybe figuring it out, what it could mean to us or how we're deciphering it.
Right.
But I think that you're right, that there are some times where like, okay, we've asked, I think maybe one too many questions.
Yeah.
And now we're in a territory that I don't want to be in. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think that it is really good for what it is. And the scares are kind of what bring you to the dance.
Yeah.
I think that is just something very impactful when you are using things that are a little predictable or maybe even a little played out, but at the same time you're still somehow there's still life in the old lady yet.
Yes.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
And one last time for the music.
Yeah.
I think that the score is really fantastic here. And I do love that kind of chaotic, high-pitched violin string situation. It really works for me, and it does get under my skin. That's why Joseph Bishara, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think that's all. And for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, big beings beneath the bed, I am going to give Terrified 7 big beings beneath the bed out of 10. I feel like that is very fair, which is why that's the score I gave. And
Just wrap it up.
I lived up to the title in many ways.
Well, that's all from us at Podmortem. What would you rate Terrified and which we watch next? Let us know on Instagram at the Podmortem. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like our Storehope Productions page on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Blood and Smoke, at JuggaloDaddy84, and at TravisMWH. Thanks again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon, where you'll get over 300 hours of bonus content, our monthly schedule, access to our Discord server, and the opportunity to help us decide which films to cover. And if you're looking for Podmortem or Storehope Productions merch, follow the link in our episode notes. Stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, situations can change dramatically depending on how you look at them. If you're feeling haunted by life circumstances, sometimes all you need is a shift in perspective. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Yeah!
Very good. A special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Tamez, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Kimberly Kleindienst, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Itzy M, Gary Horton, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Scott Troutman Wise, Mozzie Bear, Dave Burke, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Sawyer Reese Farr, Sahara, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Hagetta, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Eileen O, Marissa E, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Erica Morin, Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A, Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kayla E, Maggie H, Murder Stina, Kristen Marcy, Ori 81 Baricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Felnez 63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, A Lizard, Bay J, Jay Rich, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Valerie K, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanities, Laura McCarricker,
Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, Tony Osteen, Julie Fredborg, Rihanna S., Daniel Taylor, Anna Kate, Heather Ortiz, Kim H., August, Jenny May, Old School Cool, Malik Caselli Armstrong, Scarly D., Toya Shea, Katie, Martin Shaw, Star, Tyler J., Cam Davies, Patrick Hoagland, Raven, Wesley Tart, Kristen Jackson, Jacob Nordberg, Samantha, Damian Grant, Half Price Horror, Clemmy, Nisi Nay, Jason X Rules, Aaron Norman, Victoria Smith, Patricia A. Graham, Erasmo Pena, Danielle Wright, Chuck D, Tabitha Thomas, Connie Lingus, Richard Murray, Irene, Sally Slater 52, Jordan McCarthy, Rosalind Harnias, Emily Rance, Amy, Lisa and Kathy, Mike H, Christian Sadler, Hannah, Sarah Jack, Casey L, Evelyn Knight, Paula Garcia, Nikki M, Megan and Alexandra Saldivar, Lisa Sykes, Kelsey Niemeyer Cook, Martina LaForce, JG, Morgan Novello, Ashley, Alex M, Brandon C, Gordon Sutherland, Georgia Renlin, Ashley Poe, Diana Joe, Connor Gormley, Carrie Parker, Katie Face, Jane Pillsbury, Caitlin Asher, Mia Franz, Pooh Bear, Spicy Caldera, This is the Zodiac Speaking, Jason the Ghost, Moldy Tic Tac, Brian Ward, Tanner Rutgers, Gremlin Keeper 22, Sam Spade 666, Veronica, Kristen Rhodes, Daniel Laurent, Carmito, TVR, A Very Sweepy Baby, Nicholas Rage, A Lazy Boy, Nicola Williams, Sadison Miles, Stu Corbett, Brick O, Jada Nicole, Lost Fan 08, George L. Robertson, Mercedes X Bleeple, Joe Miller Apologist, Cool Trainer Elijah, Mrs. Bloomingdale, Sierra Duncan, Renee Hart, Meg Like Sleep,
Final Boy, Alani, Elizabeth Thompson, Joey, Michelle Nicole, The Lipstick Demon, Less Than Zombie, Franklin Badge, Sean Reeves, The Kryptonian Orphan, Melissa B., Elena C., Jillian Munford, Evil Chris, Rex Sturm Raoul, Witchy Poop 19, Brian Avers, Danielle Milton, Instant Horror, Skin Deep, Ashay Guevara, Aaron Mr. Clean Bashard, Henny Kravitz, Francisco Olmos, Paunchy Cat, Christina Perez, Buddy Boy Mac, Revamped, a Rewatch Podcast, Sarah Coolidge, Show Livia, Film Fiend, Catherine Clark, Brandon Brown, Jessica Hernandez, Camry, Amy Shipley Like the Donuts, Jack, Alyssa Muskites, Jennifer Hager, Nox Nocturnal, Byron Pittman, Sophia Mason, Most Unholy S'more, Pear Bear, Tom Blades, Bonnie Bazell, Crystal Reddy, Stu Mocker Fokker, Sean Weeks, Chardonnay Carlina, Samira Samuels, The Chief King, Nicholas Doba, Philip Thomas, Ashley Gravely, It's Austin Buttercrush, Kimberly Martinez, James Floyd, Stephanie, Hope Mowry, Abe the Camel, DGS, J. Taylor Art UK, Robert Murdoch, GQ, Danielle Carter, Jason Moore Please, Nostly, Emily Jeffries, Joey Monda, Madison Basaw, Jasmine, Midnight Martini, Victor Rushing, Gavin Annette, Jennifer Monahan, Beetle Babley, Lucille Brooker, Tono and Tone, Mick K. Dingus, Brian Highsmith, Abigail Spitzer, Christina Juarez, Billy Williams, Robert Quadriguez, Wispy Rainbow, Bionic Shoulder Blade, Zachary Luke, Squid Fart, Amy Goodman, Spooky Gal 89, Alyssa Defoe, Trev Heron, Vicky Worgan, Brooke Ball, and Jason. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. And we just want y'all to know that you always have a seat at our table.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's a little dark.
Yeah, a little bit. Until next time.